Hoptown Hoppers Baseball. This Hoppers on Radio broadcast is brought to you by Service One Credit Union, Southern States Patrol. Let's head to the stadium for all the action.
This is Hopper Baseball as the Hoppers are set to take on the Muhlenberg County Stallions. And it is also Stitch's birthday, the Hoptown Hoppers mascot. So many mascots here to celebrate with him, or friends, should you say. So we'll discuss those throughout the broadcast. Chick-fil-A Cow, one of them, one of our sponsors. You'll hear me say that a lot tonight. But Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander as the Hoppers once again set to take on the Muhlenberg County Stallions. The Hoppers were able to defeat the Stallions just last week on June 16th, 3-2, looking to do that once again. Hoppers are coming off of a 2-game losing streak as they lost to the Louisville Jockeys 12-1 this past Saturday, and just this Monday lost to the Fulton Railroaders 8-1. So looking to bounce back from those losses and get some runs on the board are the Hoppers. We're going to listen in from head coach Hopper E.J. DeVary in our dugout show, which is brought to you by the Barbecue Shack, offering catering and custom cooking. Visit them Wednesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4687 Pembroke Road in Hopkinsville. When we come back, you'll hear from Hopper head coach E.J. DeVary.
WHOP.
Found him, so I guess he's on the lineup tonight, so we'll see.
Jamar Perkins here with head coach, Hopper head coach, E.J. DeVary. How you doing today, Coach?
Pretty good, man, pretty good.
Now, Coach, first off, I saw you went golfing yesterday. Now, you don't have to talk about the results, but how have you enjoyed Hopkinsville, and how's it been adjusting to the new environment?
Oh, man, it was a blast, to be honest. The scores weren't that good, but it was a blast getting outside and enjoying the area and seeing new places, new faces. So, pretty good.
So, Coach, it's been 2 days off for your team and only one game played in 4 days. Do you see the break of play as more of a positive or a negative?
The guys today seem a little bit recharged. The energy is a little bit higher. It looks like they missed the game a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens today.
Coach, a new player on the roster, infield Artem Logbanov. How did he come about being on the team, and is there anything you can tell us about him?
All I know, he's a shortstop. He can, by the looks of it during BP, he can pick it up pretty well and got a pretty good swing on him. Coach Mike was the one who found him. So I guess he's on the lineup tonight, so we'll see.
All right.
Coach, and last question, two more questions. As far as taking on this team, Muhlenberg County, you beat them last week. How was that win, and what do you kind of notice from this squad as how you guys match up together?
I mean, it comes down to execution at the end of the night. It could be anyone's ball game from what I've seen in this league. So, I feel like the guys do have the upper hand today, but like I said, it comes down to execution by the end of the night.
Last question, Coach. Who's starting on the mound tonight, and what can you tell us about him?
We got Wilburn, Caden, lefty from UIndy. You saw him last Thursday.
Yes, sir.
He went 5 innings, scoreless. So hopefully he gets to repeat it again tonight. We'll see.
One more question too, Coach. As far as you said, going 5 innings scoreless, what's your kind of approach? You have so many pitchers on the roster. As far as you see a pitcher doing good, but still kind of have the mindset to try to give some fresh energy, how does that go about your kind of strategy, or you and Coach Mike's strategy as far as pitching?
It's just as far as it goes, is to keep those arms as fresh as possible. They go out there and do their job. They go 4 or 5 innings, maybe 6. But everybody else after that will get 1, maybe 2, just so we can keep them as fresh as possible, less days off, and just build them out for their next outing.
All right, thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Hayes Furniture, always the best.
Hi, this is Hopper Reed Douglas from Hanover College. Please join me in thanking our season sponsors: Jones Brothers, White's Auto Mall, Chick-fil-A, Planters Bank, and Oak Grove Racing, Gaming and Hotel. Roll Hoppers.
News Radio WHOP.
Hopper baseball here as the Hoptown Hoppers are set to take on the Muhlenberg County Stallions. And it's a really cloudy day out here, similar to what it was last night. But we'll go ahead and check our game time weather. That is brought to you by Charlie Henderson State Farm Insurance. Quick check of our weather for tonight's ball game.
Here's your WHOP Weather Center forecast. Lows around 59 tonight, under partly cloudy skies, winds out of the northeast at around 5 miles an hour. Highs around 83 tomorrow, cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Lows level off around 62 tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Upper 80s Saturday and Sunday, with a chance for scattered storms Sunday. That's the forecast from the WHOP Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Megan Mulford. Currently, it's 76 degrees.
And this ball game, once again, is brought to you by Chick-fil-A, as tonight's sponsor is, we'll figure that out here in a moment, excuse me, but it is Stitch's birthday. So that's the big theme for tonight. As we mentioned, a lot of mascots from different companies locally are being represented and showing up in support of Stitches, the mascot. But Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. Ethan, this is a matchup I feel that is a very winnable game for the Hoppers. You talk about them beating, it was a slight edge, only 3-2, but I see this definitely as a game that they can defeat them. But as the national anthem is set to play, we'll go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be ready for the start of things here at Colonel Field. And welcome back as we are just about set to start things here at Colonel Field. I want to go ahead and discuss the starting lineups brought to you by Riken Elastomers. Join the Riken Elastomers team with process operating starting pay at over $18 an hour and an excellent benefit package that includes employee paid benefits. Call 270-475-2150, extension 214 to learn more. As we'll first look at the starting lineups for the Muhlenberg County Stallions. Batting first will be Ethan Rothschild, and second will be Noah Phillips. Then it looks like Clark will get the start, and then after that, Tegan Ciacarelli will bat in the 4th spot. 5th will be Brennan Williams, and batting in the 6th spot, it looks like Rudy Tucker. And 7th spot will be Kyle Hogwood. In the 8th spot, it'll be Sholvin, excuse me, and then the 16th spot will be Spencer Vaughn, and then Waltz will be pitching for the Stallions. That's Noah Waltz. And for the Hoppers, it'll be Reed Douglas starting things off. Stephen Bell in the 2nd spot. Luis Vergara will bat 3rd. In the cleanup spot, Dom Oliverio batting 5th will be Carter Hood. Then Robert Estrada will bat 6th. 7th, a new player for the Hoppers from Moscow, Russia, Artem Logvanov. Then Manuel Villalobos will be at first base, playing at 8th spot, and batting in the 9th spot will be Kaito Muto. And pitching for the Hoppers, and making another appearance now, is Caden Wilburn from UIndy, the left-handed pitcher. As last week he had a nice performance, ended up going about 5 innings with no runs scored. As if you were listening to the Dugout Show, heard Coach Davari talking about that. But Ethan, before the national anthem, I went to go kind of discuss that Muhlenberg County game. What did you see from that and that victory for the Hoppers?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good pitching night from Hoptown all night. They got up to an early 2-0 lead very quick and then expanded it to 3-0 and held on to that for a while. They did let Muhlenberg pick up a couple runs in the 8th inning, but good pitching from, I believe it was Miles Green at the end of that game to stop the Stallions from taking the game in the 9th, and just a way to be resilient. Didn't play incredibly well, but did enough to get the win. And you'll take those for a Hoppers team that struggles to find those wins sometimes. So that was an overall good defensive night more for Hoptown than it was offensive.
And you're right. I'll agree with that, too. And you talk about a good win. It was actually the first time, the only time, actually, the Hoppers have gotten back-to-back wins this season. So I think that was a nice look as well. And you look at a game like this, first game of the week for the Hoppers, unless you're counting. Well, I guess no, Monday was the first game of the week, but first home game of the week for the Hoppers, and you get a chance to kind of capitalize off of your back-to-back losses. I think this would be a great win to kind of continue this week for the Hoppers. But Caden Wilburn, that's a pitcher that Coach Davari knows very well, of course, coming from the same school, but excited to see what he does today. I thought he made a great debut in that last week for the Hoppers. So I'm excited to see what he does here. I mean, actually, I believe that was that Thursday win for the Hoppers as well against the Miners.
Yeah, Wilburn was a pitcher we were waiting on seeing. He traveled with UIndy when they went to the Division III World Series. So he was a pitcher that a lot of people were excited to see, came in and performed well in his opening day.
And so now the opening pitch is set to be thrown here. The first pitch is just a bit of a high ball there. Opening pitch brought to you by Rapid RX Pharmacy, located on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville. Looking for a new pharmacy? Let the friendly staff at Rapid RX Pharmacy help you. The second pitch, and right there, the batter is hit. As that was Rothschild there. Hit a left-handed batter, hit right there near the left shoulder. Next up the bat, it'll be Noah Phillips, right-handed batter, coming from a second base is where he'll be playing tonight. And it looks like Rothschild's taking some time to gather himself here. He said took a shot right in about the right shoulder. It's the second pitch. Inside ball gone wrong there. So a runner on first here. Just started things here. Again, the Hoppers taking on the Muhlenberg County Stallions. With a runner on first here with no outs. So the pitch is low and inside for a ball. Again, Phillips is at the plate. Phillips coming from Midway University, originally from Greenville, Kentucky. Second pitch is an inside strike there, making the count 1-1.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, especially for pitchers. I know these guys probably like that 2-day off gap in one game in 4 days, but especially these pitchers who, like to throw every day to keep their arms limber, if they're going to come out just a little bit slower tonight than usual as far as throwing strikes is concerned.
And the ball was thrown there, so a 2-1 count now, and they'll throw over to first. Throw not in time, so 2-1 to count. And you say that too, but you have to kind of take into account too. You talk about maybe a Sunday was maybe a day that they got to throw a little bit before the game was canceled, and same thing maybe with as that's a swing and a miss there. 2-2 count. Not sure about yesterday though. It seemed like it was raining quite a bit early. Not sure if the Hopper players were able to get on the field or not. But I'm wondering if maybe they've still got to get a little bit of practice in for this break, and for preference of thinking they would have a game. 2-2 count is high and inside there for a ball. That makes the count full. So Noah Phillips here facing a 2 count against Caden Wilburn. The 2-2 pitch is fouled high behind the screen there, or in front of the screen behind home plate, should I say. So a full count still. No outs, runner on first. We just started here in the top of the first inning. The 3-2, and it's going to be thrown over to first as Rothschild slides back in time.
And we noticed this on Thursday when Wilburn pitched last, that he likes to check that runner at first a lot. He's a lefty there, obviously, so staring that first base side down, but not very many stolen bases when he's on the mound.
The throw is high and outside to advance Phillips to first for the walk, and Rothschild will advance to second. So runners on first and second here. No outs. Mac Clark batting now. As Clark is coming from the University of Illinois Springfield, and originally from Overland Park, Kansas. So runners on first and second. And an outside pitch there for a ball. So now not the best start so far. If you count the hit by pitch there, it's been 6 balls to 2 strikes so far in these batters. As high pitch there is another ball. As it looks like Douglas is going to come over to the mound from home plate to have a chat with Wilburn. So a 2-0 count here.
Yeah, and Wilburn looking just a little uncomfortable, has looked over towards the dugout a couple times, wondering, up here I'm wondering if, maybe just arm tensed up possibly. Something like that. Again, you never know how much these guys have thrown last few days in comparison to how much they normally do. So it may take him a couple pitches here or a couple batters here to really get into his normal rhythm.
And that's a good point too there. When you look at it, we do have, runners on first and second, but not much of that was almost his first warm-up batter. Only 2 pitches in, he hit the first batter. So you're right, not many pitches thrown so far from Wilburn. So a 2-0 count here. The throw is called a strike, clips the outside corner. So a 1-2 count now for Matt Clark. Clark is a lefty batter. Have runners on first and second with no outs here in the top of the first. As Wilburn will take time here. And so a 2-1 count here. The pitch. Yeah, that one just hits the edge of the plate outside for another strike. So now a 2-2 count. 2 back-to-back nice outside pitches here from Wilburn. So count even now, 2 apiece. The pitch. Breaking ball is grounded towards third. Diving there. The throw. It might have stepped off the bag, not sure. It is an out there. And a nice job there at third base. As that was Hood there making the throw over to Villalobos, who was able to stay on the bag. So runners advance to second and third with 1 out now. So not a bad position if you're Muhlenberg. Are able to advance the runners now 2 in scoring position rather than 1. It's at second and third with just 1 out. Now, Tegan Ciocarelli, as they're having a meeting between the umpires, is a good time to point them out today. The umpires are Mark McNabbie, Wayne Seeley, and Daniel Rios. McNabbie is behind the plate, and they're going to say safe. As the first base umpire, Wayne Seeley, says it's going to be safe, and Daniel Rios is also at third. So no, scratch that off my book there as a nice grounder for a base hit.
And I'll be honest, I don't understand that stuff as far as from umpires are concerned. You got a first base umpire who's sitting there staring at it 3 feet away, makes the out call, and then something said from the second base umpire or the home plate umpire makes him reverse the call. I don't see what he could have missed standing that close to the play that they saw. That's more of a, I wasn't so sure if he was out or safe, so going to call him safe now because we had to discuss it.
So now Tegan Ciocarelli is at the plate. Right-handed batter. So now the base is loaded with no outs here. 0-1 count as the first pitch was fouled. The second is going to be grounded towards first. They'll throw straight to home. They'll throw back to, no, they won't throw back to first. But a nice play there to force the out at home.
Yeah, some heads-up baseball from Villalobos, too. Instead of turning around and hitting that first base to go ahead and try to make the play at the force at home and keep the score where it is. Also keeping the double play alive there. Don't quite go for it, but it was always a possibility. So some good defense. Probably should be 2 outs on the board right now, but we're sitting with 1 instead. Base is still loaded.
So the base is loaded. Brennan Williams from Middle Georgia, originally from Owensboro, Kentucky. Outside pitch there. And we saw him warming up here. I don't have a height on Brennan Williams, but I would say at least 6'4".
Well, do you have a height on Reed Douglas? Because he's at least a full head taller than Reed Douglas.
I don't have a height on Reed Douglas, but you know what? I think it's a swing and a miss there. That was a high one there, but then you look at it, that probably was a strike with the height of Williams. So 1-1 count now. And another strike there is an outside pitch. As Wilburn is really working those corners. It's been 2 left-handed batters now where we've seen him throw very well to those outside corners. So he seems very comfortable in that position. So 1-2 count now. Bases loaded with 1 out. The pitch is outside, and it clips the corner again, barely. And a strikeout there as Williams will sit down watching. So now 2 outs here with the bases loaded. And now Rudy Tucker will be at the plate. Tucker coming from Freed Hardman and is really from Adams, Tennessee. 2 outs here. The pitch outside of there to the right-handed batter is called ball. So 2 outs here, a 1-0 count. Bases are still loaded. Another outside pitch there. So a 2-0 count with the bases loaded here with 2 outs. Again, Tucker at the plate. Wilburn pitching for the Hoppers. 2-0 count. There's a pitch or a strike there. Right down the middle.
Yeah, and if you're Wilburn here, you can't afford to walk this batter and allow someone to stroll in for free. So he's going to have to throw some strikes and rely on those defense, possibly.
2-1, and another one there, an inside strike. And it's that spot right there, whether it's if it's a left-handed batter, it's that outside spot. If it's a right hand, it's the inside. He is really doing a good job of clipping that plate there. So a 2-2 count with 2 outs here. Top of the first action. No run scored yet. The pitch is going to be chopped towards Wilburn. He'll jump for the ball, throw it to first, and that's an out as Villalobos tags it. As the Hoppers are able to get out of that jam there. As in that inning, there was 1 hit, no errors, 3 left on base, and a no run scored. We check the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard heading to the bottom of the first inning. A no run scored, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here as the Hoppers are set to bat in the bottom of the first inning. And it looks like a possible change here. I'm thinking E.J. Davari might be making his way towards third base. Normally it's assistant coach, Coach Benny, but actually not sure if I see him in the dugout tonight. Might have some affairs going on. So it looks like we're going to see Davari coming out the dugout. I'm not sure if that happened on any of the away games, but this might be his first time of the season, at least first time here at Colonel Field that we've seen him coaching at the third base spot.
Yeah, you have to guess that Coach Benny's up to something tonight, and so Davari's getting his legs under him and over to third base instead of being in the dugout all night, you know, actually getting to see some action.
And so now, again, a 0-0 ball game. First batter, as that's a strike there. It's Reed Douglas for the Hoppers. First pitch, a strike. So an 0-1 count. Second pitch is also a strike there. So quickly an 0-2 count. Again, catcher Reed Douglas is at the plate. The third pitch is a breaking ball. That looks like an infield flyer. I think it will go slightly towards the outfield. It actually goes to center field, and it's fielded there for the outs. That ball carried a bit. So now 1 out here. And it'll be Stephen Bell. Stephen Bell playing in center field tonight. outside pitch there for a ball, makes it 1-0. So 1 out here. 0-0 in the bottom of the second. And a low pitch there, drops right on home plate for a 2-0 count.
Say this about Stephen Bell, was a player at the start of the season who was in and out of the lineup over a 2 or 3 game span, hit really well and kind of forced himself back into the lineup as a permanent stay. So he's been in there ever since, whether it's an outfield DH, but one of the better hitters for this Hoppers team.
As that looks like another infield fly here, and it barely gets to the outfield, but the second baseman for the Stallions is the one to track that down. So now Luis Vergara will come to the plate. Vergara, the designated hitter in tonight's ball game. See him play in left field occasionally, but he's just going to be focused on the bat swinging tonight. So 2 outs. As breaking ball pretty there is called strike. So 1-1 count. First pitch was a ball. And Luis Vergara. Second pitch is a strike as well, so makes it 1-2. And Luis Vergara. Third pitch is hit towards left field, and it'll be fielded there. So 3 up, 3 down there, as the Hoppers were unable to score, as there was no hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. We head to the second inning. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville. Scoreboard is 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
And welcome back here. Set to start the top of the second inning as the Hoppers are here at Colonel Field taking on the Muhlenberg County Stallions. As the pitching for the Hoppers is Caden Wilburn. And now up to bat, it'll be Hogwood for the Stallions. So Hogwood batting for the Stallions, right-handed batter. As that's an outside pitch. Don't have a school for him, so he may be a transfer, not sure, but from Forney, Texas is his hometown.
And, you know, we always wonder how some of these guys end up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, but you really wonder how some of them end up in places like Muhlenberg.
That's a shot towards right center field, and it's fielded by Estrada. So an out there after a pop fly from Hogwood. So now one out here. And the next batter in the lineup is Scolvin. High breaking ball there is called ball. So a 1-0 count here with the 1 out. As that's going to be a shot towards left field. We'll see if it's fair. No, it is a foul there near left field. So a 1-1 count. Was a decent amount of feet away from being foul as well, but initially off the bat, it looked like it was in danger.
Definitely sounded good leaving the bat there, but just based on Oliverio's, the way he was moving in left field, it was probably always going foul.
And outside pitch there is a strike. So a 1-2 count now to Charlie Scolvin. And a strikeout there as Scolvin goes down looking there.
And just something to notice so far in this game, this umpire has a very wide strike zone. That inside corner is very inside to a point where these guys are not going to be swinging on those inside pitches. Maybe not as high of a strike zone, but definitely wider than some.
So now the 9-hole batters, that's a swing and a miss there. As it's Spencer Vaughn. So now 2 outs, an 0-1 count here. And that'll be a foul ball there. As that one goes to the right of the Hopper dugout. That makes it an 0-2 count now. So an 0-2 count here with 2 outs. Spencer Vaughn at the plate. The pitch is going to be, Muto dives for it, but it's a base hit as it lands right in the first part of right field. Muto, if you're just a bit taller, might have got to that one, but it showed some nice hops there trying to get to it.
Yeah, it was a good effort. That ball was hit pretty much perfectly, dropping in between the second baseman and right fielder, but Muto with the athletic hustle there to try and get that ball. So, nice to see that the infield is on their toes.
Now back at the top of the lineup, it's Ethan Rothschild. He was hit by a pitch in that first inning. Outside pitch there for a ball. So now a 1-0 count. 2 outs here. And a strike there. That outside is working for Wilburn. You're right, the umpire is liking it too, and he has the bigger strike zone in these outside pitches. So a 1-1 count, and that one's outside, gets loose from Douglas, and advancing to second, and now will be Vaughn. So a 2-1 count. Here with 2 outs and a runner now on a second. Here probably coming through the mic, a windy ball game here so far. Not too windy, as that's going to be a chopper towards third. It's fielded, thrown to first, and that's an out there. As that retires the Stallions for the 3rd out. And in this second inning for the Stallions, there was 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base, and no runs scored. We head to the bottom of the 2nd inning here, as we have a Stallions player bringing a ball towards the umpire. Maybe something wrong with it, not sure. He puts it in his glove, so seems to be fine. But checking the manpower of Hopkinsville, scoreboard 0-0 heading to the bottom of the 2nd. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
This is News Radio WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville. News Radio WHOP.
Dom Oliverio is at the plate for the Hoppers here in the bottom of the second inning. Scoreless here between both teams. As Oliverio batting in that fourth spot for the Hoppers. First pitch is a breaking ball called strike on the outside there. Oliverio playing in left field tonight. Second pitch is just a bit high and outside there. Was close though. So a 1-1 count here. The pitch is swung on and missed there, making it a 1-2 count. That ball was just at the top of the strike zone. So Oliverio facing the 1-2 count. The pitch, breaking ball, and that was close, but just a bit too low there, makes it 2-2. Nice eyes there from Oliverio. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed there for a strikeout. So first out there, and now up to bat is Carter Hood.
Hood, the last time this team played Muhlenberg, in the bottom of the first, hit a solo home run, the second of the Hopper season, so had a big hit against this team already so far this season.
You're right, that's a good point. And someone else joined the home run club for the Hoppers, as that's a strike there. There's just been one here at home, though. That one belongs to Oliverio. So look forward to seeing who's next on that home run list, as that's going to be a grounder towards the third. The throw is in time. A little bit of flair there from the third baseman for the Stallions as well. As that was towards his left, he kind of leaped up for that toss. So now 2 outs here. Next up to bat is Robert Estrada coming out of right field. The right-handed batter. So here 2 outs. No runners on base. Breaking ball is called a strike there. So an 0-1 count. And swing and a miss there makes it 0-2 quickly. So 2 outs here, an 0-2 count. Breaking ball is inside there to make it a 1-2 again. Waltz is at the mound for the Stallions. The 1-2 pitch, it will be fielded there by the pitcher as a chopper, and that's going to be an out as he tosses it over to first. So another 3 up, 3 down. You could say 6 up, 6 down in these first 2 innings for the Hoppers, as there were no hits, no errors, none left on base, and a no run scored. As we check the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with a great position where you can start tomorrow. The score heading to the top of the third, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. welcome back here as the Hoptown Hoppers are taking on the Muhlenberg County Stallions. The top of the third inning, Stallions batting with no runs scored here. And I want to break down the uniforms. The Hoppers wearing their red pinstripe uniforms with black lettering and white pants. The Stallions wearing their blue uniforms with white lettering and gray pants. Looks like some gray sleeves on their jerseys as well. And up to bat, Noah Phillips. He's got some yellow batting gloves on right now. The pop of color from Noah Phillips. Again, here in the top of the third inning, that first pitch was an outside ball. Caden Wilburn, the pitcher, as that'll be a shot towards center field. Pop fly, tracking it down, and that's a catch there from Stephen Bell to retire Phillips on the second swing fly out there. So one out now. Mac Clark is at the plate. He has the one base hit in this ball game. Was originally ruled out at first. And after some discussion from the umpires, he ended up being brought back to first.
Yeah, and he loaded the bases up with no outs, and the Hoppers managed to get out of that inning without giving up a run. So a ball don't lie moment there in the top of the first inning.
And a pretty pitch there. It looked like it was going outside, or inside, excuse me. And it did, but was able to hit the strike zone there. Nice changeup there. As that'll be a swing and a miss, making it an 0-2 count for Mac Clark at the plate. Again, Stallions batting here against the Hoptown Hoppers. So one out. 0-2 count. The pitch is swung on and missed there for the third strikeout for Wilburn. Now 2 outs here. And now Tegan and Ciccarelli is the fourth hole batter here, the third in this inning. He reached on fielder's choice, as that'll be an outside pitch for a ball. He had hit straight to Manuel Villalobos, and with the bases loaded, like you mentioned, Villalobos had a heads-up play and was able to throw straight to home. So 2 outs here, 1-0 count, and pitch there called strike. And that one's just a slight bit inside as well. I'll tell you what, Wilburn's done a great job of working these corners, whether they're inside or outside. 1-1 count, and that one just a bit outside, makes it a ball, 2-1. So with Ciccarelli at the plate. Two-one count. And that's an outside pitch, making it 3-1. It's like we have some players right now chilling in the bullpen. No pitches thrown so far from there.
And I was told tonight that because they haven't played very many games, tonight's going to be a starters night. And all the guys out of the bullpen tonight will be normally starters. So your relievers tonight will be guys that usually go 4 or 5 innings, but are going to come in and get those arms warm tonight, considering they haven't thrown in a few days.
You know, I like to hear that too. It's interesting to see who we'll see on the mound then. It's a full count pitch after that foul ball. That one is high and gets past Douglas for a walk there. So now with 2 outs, Ciccarelli will advance once again to first base. First time a fielder's choice, now this time a walk. Now Brennan Williams is back at the plate. He struck out looking. He was Wilburn's first victim there in the first inning. But now 2 outs here. Williams, the left-handed batter. Outside pitch there, called ball. And Williams, once again, don't have a specific height on him, but definitely a taller player here. The pitch is a strike there. Williams thought about swinging, but took it back. Didn't matter. Strike called. So a 1-1 count here. with 2 outs and a runner on first. 0-0 ball game. And that's a strike there. Another outside pitch there. That one was a bit high as well. So a 1-2 count now.
Yeah, and here it seems Wilburn's kind of challenging him to swing because these are pretty much straight down the middle, and he's watching him fly by.
As Wilburn threw over to first, the ball was a bit in the ground, it looked like, and Villalobos kind of had to flip that one as it landed right next to him. So Ciccarelli didn't try to go to second. So 1-2 count here. Runner on first, 2 outs. The pitch is high and swung on and missed there. Back-to-back strikeouts from Williams at the plate, and the Stallions are retired. And the inning there was no hits, no errors, 1 left on base, and no runs scored. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard remains the same, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here in the bottom of the 3rd inning as the Muhlenberg County Stallions are taking on the Hoptown Hoppers. And up to bat, it'll be a new player for the Hoppers, Artem Logvinov. As he comes out of Moscow, Russia, does Logvinov. Breaking ball is a bit high there for a ball. So his first at-bat as a Hopper, as he will start things off here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Second pitch is a breaking ball. That one's a strike. Just a bit lower, it looks like, than the first one.
Yeah, and I wonder, there's Hoppers historians out there, if Logvinov is the first Hopper to come from Russia.
As that'll be a check swing called strike as it bounced near home plate. As I think I know a person that might know that answer, so I'll talk to him tomorrow. A 1-2 count. And that's a high pitch for a ball to even the count at 2-2. As Logvinov comes from a Frontier Community College, and he'll strike out there in his first at-bat as a Hopper as he swings on an outside pitch and misses there. So now Manuel Villalobos is up to bat. Or, you know what, I actually had a chat with him, and he prefers Miggy. So Miggy Villalobos, I'll have to get that drilled in my brain. And confirmed from my source that Logvinov is the first Russian Hopper player ever.
Well, I was curious just because, I mean, we've had quite a few Hoppers from other countries, but you don't see too many baseball players coming out of Russia in general, so having one in Hoptown's interesting.
High ball there makes it a 3-0 count now. 3-0 the count for Miggy Villalobos here with a 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. Still scoreless for both teams. And a strike call there. 3-1 the count. Breaking ball will be chopped there to the shortstop. It's fielded. The throw is in time there as Villalobos is retired. So now 2 outs here. And batting in the 9th spot will be Kaito Muto. Muto playing at second base tonight. Muto shows bunt. It doesn't take it away, though. So it was an high and outside pitch. He tried to kind of run away from it, but managed to still be there. So an 0-1 count now for Muto. 2 outs here, bottom of the 3rd. And that ball is grounded towards the dugout of the Hoppers for foul.
And this pitcher, the starting pitcher for Muhlenberg, throwing a lot of lofty, slow pitches here. I'm wondering if the wind it has anything to do with why the Hoppers are struggling so hard to, so much to hit these balls that otherwise I think wouldn't be too hard to hit.
High pitch there makes it a 1-2 count. I agree too. And you talk about these lofty kind of, they're breaking a bit, but you find the right bat on it, and that ball will probably soar. But you're right, that wind could be a factor. As that'll be a shot there. It might drop in front of left field, and it does. As Muto gets the base hit, it hung in the air for a bit, but was too high for the shortstop and was too short for the left fielder there. So a base hit there from Kaito Muto in the first of the ball game for the Hoppers.
And I'll say this, point our attention over to first base, how funny it is to see Muto standing next to Brennan Williams, who Muto is not even quite at his shoulders.
And we did, or you did, to find that out for us. Brennan Williams, the first baseman, 6'6" is his height there. So a nice reach there from first too, as they'll actually throw over. And one thing about Muto is he has some nice leadoffs at first, as he feels he has the speed there. But so we see that a lot here from Muto, and a right-handed pitcher for the Stallions. As back to the top of the lineup, it's Reed Douglas. First pitch called strike there. Douglas had a fly ball to short center field. So an 0-1 count now, runner at first. A good player for the Hoppers to have at first, with Muto and his speed. That ball will be winded, fouled there, as that one lands behind the Hoppers bullpen. So an 0-2 count now, as it was actually an 0-2 count in the last at bat for Douglas. That landed in a fly ball. We'll see what happens here, as they'll throw over to first, and Muto makes it in time.
Muto's already been challenged 3 times at first. He went ahead and strapped on that sliding glove on his left hand, so I don't know if that's because he's looking to steal or because he's been challenged so many times.
Muto will look to steal, but it'll be called a strikeout there. And inside pitch, Douglas just turns and looks over at the umpire, as that one was, I mean, just about as inside as it could get. Debatable there, but it's a strikeout regardless, as Douglas strikes out looking. And the bottom of the 3rd for the Hoppers, there was 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base, and no runs scored, as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Still no runs scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. welcome back here to Colonel Field. Top of the fourth, still scoreless between both teams, the Hoptown Hoppers and the Muhlenberg County Stallions. We had the T-shirt gun come out for another appearance, and once again, the percentage on this T-shirt gun, cannon, whatever you want to call it, is not very good. There are a lot of T-shirts either coming short, not getting over the net, or over the bleachers, but still a lot of fun here. And some people got some shirts,
Yeah, I'll say this is the second opposing team to come to Hoptown and leave with a shirt after one ends up in the netting and then they run out and grab it. So 2 teams now with Hoptown Hoppers T-shirt cannon shirts already this season.
And Rudy Tucker is at the plate for the Stallions. Wilburn is still on the bump for the Hoppers. First pitch is a ball. And here, almost halfway through this ball game, it's been just under an hour. And a pitch called strike there. Makes it a 1-1 count. 1-1 pitch is hit towards the screen right in front of the Hopper fan bleachers. So a 1-2 count now after the foul ball. First batter here in the top of the fourth inning. The 1-2 pitch is high for a ball, high and outside. That makes it a 2-2 count. Well, if you didn't already know, it was 100%, I feel like, confirmed as the 2-2 pitch is thrown, and that's foul behind the screen. NBA drafts tonight. The Spurs, guess who they selected, Ethan? Actually, you don't have to guess. I'll go ahead and say Victor Wembanyama was selected in the NBA draft at first overall to the San Antonio Spurs.
To no surprise.
And, no surprise at all. 2-2 count as that one is fouled once again to the screen in front of the Hopper bleachers. I think this has been one of those number 1 picks where, I mean, there was no kind of, I mean, maybe the last time we saw that was maybe Zion Williamson, but a player like LeBron James, in a sense, people comparing him to as far as have been the number 1 pick in last year's draft. As that's a high pitch to making it a full count now at 3-2. And number 2 pick, Brandon Miller.
Look at that.
Brandon Miller is selected from Alabama, SEC player. Full count. That ball will be fouled behind the Chick-fil-A broadcast booth.
Yeah, and Tucker here with several fouls back to back to back to stay alive and get this to a full count. So very good at bat no matter what happens to him here, as he pushes Wilburn to probably the most pitches thrown in an at-bat so far this game.
Full count pitch is swung on and missed there. Had some heat behind it too. As that'll be the 5th strikeout for Wilburn. 1 out now here in the top of the 4th inning. Kyle Hogwood is at the plate for the Stallions. Still scoreless here, 0-0. That ball is hit, and diving forward is Logmanov. He'll make the throw. It is not in time. It'll get a bit past, or it'll come out of the glove of Villalobos. But a nice effort there from Logmanov, as the throw just couldn't get there in time. But a nice dive there to just make it a base hit and stay in the infield.
Yeah, you love to see the effort. I mean, that's about as good as you can do in that scenario, apart from making the throw cleanly. But I'm not even sure if that throw gets made, if it's going to beat the runner. So just about as good as you can do to try your best and try to get the out there from Logmanov.
The first Russian Hopper in all its years. So ball there as Charlie Schkovin is at the plate. And an inside pitch, and I think he actually might have gotten hit there in the elbow, and he did. So Scovin will advance, or Scovin will advance to first. As Douglas is trying to debate with the umpire now, Davari is going to come out. A lot of the fans are discussing and saying that Scovin leaned into the plate a bit and kind of turned his shoulder, which may have been the case. It definitely looked close to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit of a turn into it. I don't know. I mean, if you can really decide if he was turning into it or just trying to not get hit. But it definitely at some point hit his bat. Whether it hit his bat before it hit him or not, I'm not sure. But it definitely hit the bat at some point. So they have to discuss both of those things.
And they're going to keep him at first as Davari asked the umpires to meet and at least talk about it. And well, they talked, and Scovin advances to first. So now runners on first and second here with one out.
And again, I just don't know what they could possibly be talking about. If the umpire standing, less than a foot away from the play misses it, I doubt he's going to overturn it from talking to two guys standing 50 feet away.
Now Spencer Vaughn is at the plate as he had a base hit in the second inning. So a 1-0 count after that high ball, and they'll throw over to second, I think, just to make sure not get a pitching violation there. As Wilburn, I'm not sure if you dissected what just happened there between Wilburn and the umpire.
Yeah, I think the umpire said balk but made the signal that it wasn't a balk, and it wasn't a balk obviously because they stayed where they are. So
pitch from Wilburn is a swing and a miss there, making the count 1-1.
So just a little confusion as the Hoppers coaches quickly jump out of the dugout to ask him what was going on there. I think it was just maybe a slip of the tongue by the umpire.
1-1 the count. That is a foul ball behind home plate. That makes it a 1-2 count now. Third pick in the NBA draft is Scoot Henderson. So it looks like no trade from the Trailblazers.
Not yet, at least, but I'm excited to see where the draft goes after this. We kind of knew where those first three ones were probably going to go.
And that'll be a swing and a miss. The ball gets loose, though. And so 2 outs. So 2 outs, though. Spencer Vaughn is ruled out there. So not sure. I believe the ball must have been caught there. So runners now on second and third. Ball did get loose, though, which should advance the runners. That's an outside strike there for Rothschild.
And right now Wilburn is facing off against 2 runners in scoring position, so not the first time he's seen that tonight. A little bit better scenario here than it was in the first inning, though.
As an outside pitch there makes it a 1-1 count. Runners on second and third. The 1-1 pitch gets past Douglas. Now trying to go towards first. It'll be a toss and a score there. As making it there was a runner for the Stallions. The runner does advance to third as well. That makes it a 1-0 ball game as Coach Albin is making his way towards the mound. So they'll have a meeting. Looks like no substitution so far. As a run does score. And Rothschild does remain at the plate. And so Wilburn will stay at the mound. And the pitch to Rothschild is hit towards Muto. He gets the line drive there, straight in the glove at second base. And so in the inning there was one hit and no errors. And one left on base. One run scored for the Stallions to give them the lead. Heading to the bottom of the fourth inning. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville. Scoreboard, Stallions lead the Hoppers 1-0. It'll be the Hoppers bats moving. When we come back here, this is Hoppers Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
Stephen Bell at the plate, and he is hit with the first pitch here in the bottom of the fourth inning. As Bell staying at home plate, was he not hit?
Oh, he definitely was hit, but the umpire said that he wasn't, and he's going to keep him at home plate here. I don't think, not only do I think he was hit, I think it actually rolled all the way across his chest. So I have no idea. I mean, really, that's ridiculous.
So a ball still called, 1-0, but Bell is going to stay at the plate. Here, once again, the bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 ball game. Breaking ball outside is a ball. The Stallions lead the Hoppers. Hoppers up to bat here. As we're playing inside Colonel Field tonight. Low and inside pitch makes it another ball, so a 3-0 count. And you mentioned the thing, ball don't lie.
I was just about to say that.
It's looking like it right now. The 3-0 count. We'll see. As that'll be a strike there. As Bell will turn his back heading toward the first, but a strike called there. And can't be surprised at those pitches. I feel like, that was an outside pitch. Just maybe got the plate, but he's been calling the same one for Wilburn. As that's a swing and a miss. And as I say, ball doesn't lie. It makes it a full count now. So we'll see what comes of it here. As a Waltz, again, is pitching for the Stallions here. The full count pitch is low and inside. So Bell does walk here.
Yeah, after reeling him back in twice, he finally is allowed to go to first base.
Now up to bat, Luis Vergara. And Luis Vergara had a fly ball out to left field in his last at bat. He'll have a foul ball there in front of the screen by the Hoppers' faithful bleachers. So an 0-1 count here. Runner at first with no outs. 1-0 ball game. Stallions lead. The pitch. As trying to steal there was Bell. It'll be fielded by the third baseman. A high throw there. As that's an out. And an absolute laser there. As that ball came from Hogwood.
Yeah, and I'll say if Williams at first isn't 6'6", that ball flies over him. That was a high laser there, and it was still difficult for him to grab. So they look out for having the tallest guy on the field standing at first.
So a runner on second, and now Dom Oliverio is at the plate. He did strike out in his first at-bat in the second inning. Oliverio will hit towards third, and they'll try to go over to Bell at second. He's caught in a pickle. Now the throw over towards third. Now going towards second is Bell, and he'll be tagged out. And Oliverio will just stay at first there due to the fielder's choice. So Bell, it was grounded towards third. It looked like Hogwood kind of looked over to Bell. Bell was kind of staying in place. And as Hogwood looked like he was going to make a throw towards first, Bell trying to kind of put all of his energy towards third, and Hogwood shifted his attention to Bell to tag him out.
Yeah, and that's a theme we haven't quite talked that much about this season. A struggle for the Hoppers this season overall, but just pretty abysmal base running all year from this team. I don't know who that fault lays on. I think that was probably Bell's fault for not just getting back and trying to, play mind games with the shortstop. But as a team, this team has just not been very good in the base path.
An 0-1 count. Carter Hood is at the plate. They threw over to first at Oliverio. He was back in time. 2 outs here. 1-0 ball game. Stallions lead. Hoppers at the plate. That'll be a base hit towards right field. Oliverio will hit second, go for third. The ball is a bit loose, and Oliverio managed to get all the way to third base. Nice job using the speed there. And Clark there in right field looked like he had the ball and then struggled to pick it up a bit. So Hood gets the base hit. And now Robert Estrada is at the plate. He had a chopping ground ball to Waltz, the pitcher, and it looks like it'll be a meeting here at the mound. No action in the bullpen. Looks like they're just going to discuss some things here with the runner in scoring position in Oliverio. Want to make sure that they're in a good position here. And so 2 outs here. I want to know, too, I'll be remiss if I didn't say it. The Stallions coach, not sure if it's the pitching coach or head coach. I believe it's the head coach.
It is the head coach, yes.
He's sporting some cool hair as it's coming down from the cap about his, landing right above his backside.
Yeah, and he's been the coach in Muhlenberg for 3 or so years now, maybe even longer than that. So he's someone that, and he's had that haircut the whole time. Obviously, if he got that long, he's had it that long, but a familiar face.
So runners at first and third here with 2 outs. The ball is hit towards right field, and it will drop there. Oliverio scores, and we have a tie ball game here at Colonel Field. As Estrada hits it right where it needed to be in a short right field.
Yeah, not quite sure if that's what he was planning on doing there, but hey, if it works, it works. The second baseman didn't have much of a shot. Would have had to run and catch that one with pretty much a blind. So that ball was going down as soon as it left the bat.
So a tie ball game there, 2 outs. As a nice job there from Estrada. He was able to have a nice placement there with that ball and get an RBI. So now 1-1, bottom of the fourth here. And 2 outs here with runners on first and second. Artem Logvinov is at the plate. A low pitch there for a ball in his first ever at-bat as a hopper. Logvinov, it struck out. Looking to switch things for him in this ball game here. So 1-0 count, 2 outs. The pitch from Waltz, that one bounces at home plate. Makes it 2-0.
Yeah, and Logvinov here up 2-0 with 2 runners on base, threatening to load him here. Pretty much demanding that this pitcher throws in the strike zone, which is dangerous for a pitcher who's thrown with very little speed.
2-0 count. That ball is just outside there. Makes it 3-0. Listen in from the dugout, I believe, and someone said go Artie, so I think Artem's nickname for him is Artie. Artie Logvinov. So 3-0 count here with 2 outs and runners on first and second. The pitch
outside.
As that's outside, and Logvinov had put the bat on the shoulder. He had no intentions of swinging there and didn't need to. As Logvinov sees his first time on a base. And now Miggy Villalobos will be at the plate.
Yeah, and this is a pivotal moment. Miggy hasn't had the greatest plate discipline so far this season, someone that does like to swing the bat, but as this pitcher looks to slowly be losing the strike zone just a little bit here in the bottom of the fourth, pretty pivotal moment for Villalobos to, show some discipline and try to bring someone in, even if it is a walk.
The first pitch is fouled there, making it 0-1 count. 1-0-2, no action so far from the bullpen, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I just saw some players, I think, maybe making their way over there. We'll check and find out. So an 0-1 count here with 2 outs. The bases are loaded for Villalobos here for the Hoppers. As he'll hit that one towards the shortstop, he'll dive forward. They'll make the throw to first. It's not in time. A run scores, and it'll get past first base. So 2 runs will score. Now trying to round, no. Staying at third will be. And so 2 runs score there. That was Logvinov that stayed at third base.
Yeah, and we talked about that shortstop, Hogwood, throwing a pretty crazy ball not too long ago that the first baseman was able to corral that time. Once again, another crazy one. This one was low instead of high and just flies straight past the first baseman and into the fence.
And so now Kaito Muto will come to the plate. We have a 3-1 ball game. The Hoppers lead. Runners on second and third here. And that's a strike called. So an 0-1 count. Muto had a base hit. He had just about the same spot that Estrada just got his hit in. It was right there in short right field. So an 0-1 count here. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. The pitch, Muto will get a shot towards the shortstop. It'll be fielded, thrown. That is in time there. So Muto grounds out to the shortstop. In the 4th inning, there were 3 hits. And I believe there was 1 error. And there was 2 left on base for the Hoppers. And 3 runs scored. Checking the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, heading to the top of the 5th inning. Hoppers lead the Stallions 3-1. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
For financial advice to be useful.
News Radio, WHOP.
And welcome back here. A new pitcher for the Hoppers. It's Frankie Paradis, as he will come in for Caden Wilburn, as Wilburn ended up pitching 4 innings for the Hoppers. Another good showing once again for Wilburn. Only 1 run it scored. It was off of a wild pitch, that 1 run scored.
And so I'm curious now, we heard Davari say this before the game in your interview, that the relievers, you know, he likes to throw them 1 or 2 innings. And as I said tonight, I believe the relievers tonight will all be guys that normally start. So I'm wondering if he will continue that theme of throwing these guys 1-2, even if they are starters.
Pitch there is outside. Noah Phillips is at the plate for the Stallions. He had a fly ball out to center field his last at bat. This pitch is a strike there. Check swing, doesn't matter. Strike called to make it a 1-1 count here for Phillips. Second pitch is a shot there in between the third and baseman and shortstop. So Phillips will get his first hit of the outing. And now Mac Clark will work at the plate. So pitch here is called strike there for Matt Clark. You're going to run her on first. That's Noah Phillips. 3-1 ball game. The pitch outside for a ball. Makes it 1-1. Mac Clark again is at the plate. He struck out in his last at-bat in the 3rd inning. And then Frankie Paradis is pitching for the Hoppers. That'll be a shot towards right field. Fly ball. Tracking it down is Estrada. And he makes the grab as he'll throw over to Muto near second base. And Clark is retired there.
Yeah, and we saw with Caden Wilburn, it did take a couple of at-bats for him to really get his rhythm. That first inning was definitely his scariest of his 4. And the first 2 batters here that Paradis is facing one was a hit, of course, and then that was good contact. So hopefully the same kind of situation for him.
So an 0-1 count here. Ciccarelli is at the plate. As an 0-2 count now. So now 1 out. That ball is fouled behind home plate. So 1 out here, an 0-2 count. Runner at first. And it'll be an attempt to steal the base there from Phillips, but he has to come back after the foul ball. And that one was chopped right on top of home plate. So the count remains the same at 0-2. As that will be another foul ball there. So 0-2 the count. Keeping up with the NBA draft. The 4th and 5th pick. 4th pick is Amen Thompson from Overtime Elite. And the 5th pick from the Detroit Pistons is his twin, All-Star Thompson. So Amen to the Rockets, All-Star to the Pistons. Anthony Black from Arkansas was selected with that 6th pick by the Orlando Magic. That is the first ball of the count there in the dirt, making it a 1-2 count.
And I'll go ahead and say it. Anthony Black getting taken 6th overall just breaks my heart. I'm a Utah Jazz fan, wanted him at 9. So I'm getting taken at 6. That was my guy. So I'm in shambles right now. Shambles.
And maybe your backup will still be available, as that'll be a ball near center field. Bell's looking for it. He finds it. As back-to-back fly balls now to center field make it 2 outs. And still staying at first is Noah Phillips. After being the leadoff hitter, getting that base hit. We've seen 2 batters now, and he has stayed. So now Brennan Williams is up to bat. He has struck out in both of his appearances at the plate. The left-handed 6'6" batter for the Stallions. 3-1 ball game, by the way, the score. Hoppers lead the Stallions here. The pitch is swung on and missed. Check swing gone too far there. Makes it an 0-1 count. So an 0-1 count here. Swing and a miss there. Makes it an 0-2 count. 7th pick in the NBA draft is Bilal Koulibaly from France.
Who was my 3rd choice. So if my backup gets taken at 8th, it's going to be a bad night.
Going to hear a quiet Ethan for the rest of the game as they're going to try to steal there. It's a ball grounded, and he'll stay safe. And Phillips makes it in time. Stolen base ball. It hit the ground there. Was a real low throw there from a Douglas, excuse me. So 1-2 count here. Again, Brennan Williams is at the plate. That'll be towards Miggy Villalobos. He can't get to that ball. Now trying to come towards home. The throw will come from Estrada, and safe as Phillips is able to make his way from second to home after the base hit from Brennan Williams. And now we have a 3-2 ball game. As Williams, after back-to-back strikeouts, gets the RBI there as he goes to the right of Villalobos. And the throw from Estrada was just about where it needed to be. Just not in time there as Phillips was able to advance home. So now a 1-run ball game. 3-2 the score. And we are in the top of the 5th inning. The pitch from Paradis gets past Douglas. And Williams is going to try to go. The throw was made, and he's out. Williams hesitated and then changed his mind to try to go to second. And he is tagged out. Nice help from the audience to tell Douglas, too, as he makes the throw. And that is the 3rd out here, as there was 2 hits, no errors, none left on base, and 1 run scored for the Stallions as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Hoppers still lead as they're set to bat 3-2. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Max Arnold & Sons is looking for experienced oil and fuel sales representatives to add to their growing team in Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Princeton, and Paducah areas.
Warriors fan, I don't feel about this ball. This is Hopper Baseball, as the Hoppers are taking on the Muhlenberg County Stallions. 3-2 is your score here in the bottom of the 5th inning. as we've got Hopper Baseball. We're trying to stay up to date here on the NBA draft as well and keep you all informed who are tuning in with us. We appreciate all our listeners here. Reed Douglas is batting.
Yeah, and I don't think we mentioned this there at the end before we got sent to break, but that throw from Reed Douglas that took out Williams at second was absolutely perfect.
And that's a base hit as it goes towards the left field line. Hill's gonna stay at first, makes his way halfway, but comes back. So a nice base hit right beside the foul line there in left field. And now Douglas will be at first base, and Stephen Bell is at the plate, the left-handed batter. He was walked in the fourth inning, his last at bat. Douglas is going to try to steal. They'll throw, and it was close. Not sure if he tagged him, and he did, the umpire says. So Douglas, first pitch, steal attempt there. He's tagged out. And so one out here. And Stephen Bell is facing a 1-0 count. Swing and a miss there. Looks like a breaking ball low there. Makes it a 1-1 count. And another pitch there inside for a ball. I know I mentioned it was Stitch's birthday earlier, and he had some mascots in attendance. Not sure if they're still here, but they all did show up. It was the Chick-fil-A cow, the Freegal, as that's a low pitch for a ball, making it a 3-1 count. The Parker the Wreck Squirrel, State Farm Bear, Dunker, McGruff, Sparky, Frog, Lion, Slice, the Easter Bunny, and Santa, as that's a shot towards the shortstop. It'll bounce on the ground. The throw is in time there for an out. I think Santa was probably my favorite appearance of the mascot. Seeing the Chick-fil-A cow is pretty cool, too. I remember seeing him as a kid. But good old Santa made his way all the way down from North Pole to the Hopkinsville.
Yeah, how about that?
Travel
quite
right
a travel.
there.
Not quite, you know, it's a pretty similar travel to Dunker making it from Murray, Kentucky, too.
As that'll be a foul ball going behind the Hoppers bleachers, and that had a smack to it. Not sure if that hit a car. That definitely had a smack to it, but regardless, an 0-1 count here with 2 outs. Luis Vergara is at the plate. So a 1-1 count here. Trace Walker selected by the Washington Wizards, as that will be a shot towards left field and a base hit there for Luis Vergara. So now Vergara will go to first here with 2 outs. And now Dom Oliverio is at the plate. It was a fielder's choice in his last time at the plate. He actually was one of those runs that scored as well for the Hoppers. It was that actual first run of the ball game in that 3-run 4th inning for the Hoppers. So now a runner at first. The pitch is outside for a ball. So a 1-0 count. Vergara at second. 2 outs here in a 3-2 ball game. The pitch. A check swing, and that hits the dirt to make it a 2-0 count now. If Oliverio can stay on, it'll be Carter Hood next up for the Hoppers.
And you'd love to see a runner in scoring position with Carter Hood at the plate. So, you know, a perfect scenario here. Obviously, Oliverio, you know, you want to see him get a hit, but if he walks and pushes Luis to second base, that'd be huge with 2 outs on the board.
There was a throw over to first. Vergara was in time, so still a 2-0 count here. The pitch is low for a ball there, making it a 3-0 count. Now the pressure on for Waltz, as we do have a player warming up for the Stallions.
Yeah, and this might be a leave the bat on your shoulder kind of moment.
And he did, and it will be a walk, an inside pitch there. Will advance Oliverio, and Vergara will head over to second. Now, as you mentioned, Carter Hood, a nice spot here for the Hoppers, even with the 2 outs, a nice hitter. And a Carter Hood. So runners at first and second, 2 outs here, a 3-2 ball game. And it's Carter Hood at the plate. He had a base hit in his last at bat. He was the one that drove in Oliverio. As he'll hit a shot towards left field, and it is fouled right in front of the fence. It's just the wind had a push maybe just a bit more right. That could have been, or back and right, could have been out of here. As that drops right in front of the fence near left field, but definitely had the Hoppers fans and Muhlenberg County fans holding their breaths for a second.
Yeah, it was a smooth stroke, well hit, and Hood likes to hit those to left field. That's where he likes to go. I mean, that's where he hit that home run in Muhlenberg, was far left field. So, you know, seeing a similar situation there, I'm sure Muhlenberg had some deja vu.
Pitch there is an outside breaking ball, making it a 1-1 count. So a 1-1 count here. 2 outs. The pitch is low for a ball, making it a 2-1 count. I believe I see number 19 for the Stallions currently pitching. And I believe it is Justin Whitman from Henderson, Tennessee, coming out of Freed Hardman, warming up for the Stallions. As that'll be a shot towards second, and it'll just be fielded at the second base, or a toss there. Gets the 3rd out. And so that will do it here. As for the 3rd out, and in the 5th inning for the Hoppers, there was 2 hits, no errors. It was 1 left on base, and no runs were scored as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Hoppers with the slight edge, 3-2. That's the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, as there's musical chairs going on here at Colonel Field. 3-2 the score. We'll be right back for 6th inning action. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville. News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here. The top of the 6th inning. Hoppers lead 3-2 against the Muhlenberg County Stallions. First pitch is a strike as Hoppers player Frankie Paradis is on the bump. As that's a ball there. Rudy Tucker is at the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. Struck out in his last at bat in the 4th inning. That pitch is called a strike there. So a 1-2 count now. That's a chopper there as it'll be fielded, thrown, and that's an out there. It looks like we have a substitution at second. That's not Kaito Muto. That's
Sam Perkins.
Is Sam Perkins. Sam Perkins, I'm not sure. I mean, it might have grown some hair since the beginning of this ball game. I don't remember that hair sticking out behind the cap like that for Sam Perkins. I don't know. It might just be me. Maybe seeing him.
Yeah, I'm not 100. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's gotten longer over the season, but I think he's always had the bit of a longer due. But you know, you don't usually expect to see guys just popping in and out of the defensive lineup in the middle of a game like that either.
Swing and a miss there. Makes it an 0-2 game. I'll tell you, I've been keeping up with the College World Series the most that I can. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what team you're looking at. It's mullet central in college baseball. You know what? You look at the Hoppers, not too many. We have a couple. Is that there? Kyle Hogwood is going to be hit by the pitch to advance to first. Have a couple of mullets on the squad, but not too much, I'd say. So advancing to first after being hit by the pitch there is Hogwood. Now Charlie Scovin is at the plate. He'll foul there. Ball goes behind home plate. So one out here, runner on first. And an 0-1 count. 9th pick in the NBA draft for the Utah Jazz is Taylor Hendricks.
It's my guy. That was my backup pick.
Okay.
Yep.
As that'll be a foul ball going behind the bleachers there of the Hoppers. I'll make it known I'm a Warriors fan, so not too worried about picks here. It'd be nice to get some I think a nice post player to fit with the new addition of Chris Paul would be nice. But we'll see what happens there. The 0-2 count, and that either hit the butt of the bat there or.
Well, unless number 23 is made of aluminum, that hit his bat, because that was not the sound that is made whenever a ball hits a human being. So if they say anything other than a foul here, then something is going on, because again, unless he has a prosthetic arm possibly and is made of metal.
Could be.
Wood, for that matter.
There was a meeting between the umpires, and they're going to call a strike there, a strikeout. So it hit the bat. So I guess you call that a foul ball here.
I guess the check swing was what was called, maybe. I don't know.
So ruled out there is Scovin. That makes the second out. Now the 9th batter, Spencer Vaughn, will come to the plate. And a 1-0 count. And a runner on first. That's the tying run there. With the 3-2 ball game, the Hoppers leading the pitch is low and inside there for another ball. So a 2-0 count. Two balls, no strikes. Vaughn will foul behind home plate to make it a 2-1 count. As checking some games across the league, that's a high inside pitch to make it a ball. So a 3-1 count now. The Paducah Chiefs are currently leading the Henderson Flash in the top of the 6th inning at 8-2. Louisville Jockeys currently defeating the Full Count Rhythm 4-3. That's the bottom of the 3rd inning. Strike called there it makes it a full count here with 2 outs. Runner at first for the Stallions. 9th hole batter Spencer Vaughn is at the plate. The pitch is a swing and a miss, a strikeout from Paradis. And that will do it for the Stallions in the 6th inning. As there were no hits, no errors, and 1 left on the base. No runs scored. We checked the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with a great position where you can start tomorrow. The score 3-2. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here. Robert Estrada is at the plate. Hopper's batting in the bottom of the 6th inning. First pitch is swung on and fouled towards the screen in front of the Hoppers fans.
Yeah, and here we are in the 6th inning. You have the same starting pitcher they've had all night from Muhlenberg, a guy who throws lobbing pitches, slow pitches, pitches with movement, but not much speed.
As Estrada will have a shot right down the third base line. It's fair. Estrada will look to go to halfway. Was looking towards second as his speed was able to give him a long leadoff after first and right down the third base line. I want to note a funny moment that happened before that foul ball with the first pitch that was hit behind home plate. Artem Logvinov had went for it, and I don't think he's gotten adjusted to the speedy ball boy Nixon Grace. As he came right behind him, Artem was kind of turned around like, oh, my bad. He's learning how things go down here. All those balls behind home plate go to Nixon Grace. Umpire doesn't have to move a bit behind home plate.
I'm sure the umpires appreciate having to stand in the same spot all night. They don't have to worry about going to get those balls.
So Estrada gets the base hit there. He's 2 for 3 on the day.
Yeah, I was saying right before he hit that, I was like, I'm wondering when they're going to start figuring this guy out. And he immediately got a hit, so maybe that time is now.
Low and inside pitch, a ball there for Logvinov. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Struck out in the 3rd inning, was walked in the 4th. Looking here to get his first hit. Again, a runner on first, Estrada. And still throw over. That one was close. And he is there in time. As Estrada, wouldn't be surprised to see him possibly try to steal here with his speed and the situation. But have to be careful here with the leadoff, especially talk about that 6'6" first baseman and Williams having a longer reach than others. Inside pitch there is a ball, 2-0 count. So a 2-0 count here with no outs. And Estrada at first. He will try to steal going to second. The throw will be made, and it's offline there to advance Estrada. So thought the stolen base attempt would come, and it did. And it is successful there.
Yeah, and they do get the strike up on Logvinov, but you know, a runner in scoring position here for the Hoppers with no outs on the board, and a player who walked, I believe, in his last at-bat. So somebody who may have some good plate discipline.
As he'll hit towards short, and it'll get past him. So Logvinov will go to first, and Estrada will advance to third.
And I don't know what that was. I I guess the left fielder thought that Estrada was going to go home.
And so he threw to home, and that was an easy way for Logmanov to advance to second. So now runners are at second, third. You're right, not the best move there, but I guess to be safe, didn't want Estrada to try to make his way over there. But now no outs, and Logmanov gets his first base hit as a hopper. We'll see if they rule that as an error.
I'm not sure.
I mean, it came to the glove hot. I mean, that wasn't an easy ball to get. It's going to be a meeting.
I would assume that's ruled as a base hit, but it's definitely going to be a single, not a double, because that throw home, which also I'll say was not even like a laser throw to the catcher. I mean, if Estrada wanted to go to 30, wanted to go home, he probably could have made it because that was a lobbing, slow throw. So, not exactly sure what the left fielder from Muhlenberg was thinking there.
So they're going to call it an error, is what I'm seeing on the stat sheet. So that's normally what I like to go by in the ball game. So an error as Logmanov reaches the base for the second time in a row, but we'll have to wait for that first official hit. But still a nice piece of batting there from Logmanov. And so they're going to keep Waltz at the plate.
And once again here, Villalobos in a position to get some more runs up on the board for Hoptown. In his last at-bat, he was as well. So twice tonight already has been put in a spot to get some offense going for the Hoppers, this time with no outs on the board.
Miggy Villalobos is at the plate. Runners in second and third, and no outs here. A 3-2 ball game. First pitch is hit towards left field. That'll be a base hit. That's bringing in 2 runs for sure, as Artem Logmanov comes in right behind Estrada. Miggy Villalobos is going for third, and he'll be tagged out there, but not before he advances 2 runs to home.
Yeah, I think, that throw from the left fielder to the second baseman flew over his head, and I think Villalobos forgot that there's a 6'6" first baseman standing behind him to easily corral that ball and throw to third base. But, you'll take the 2 runs there even if Villalobos is out, because there's still only 1 out on the board even after that.
Not sure I've ever seen a player smile that hard after being tagged out, but he put in the work there as he made his way to the dugout.
Yeah, not the fastest player in the world. Getting a triple there would have been, a milestone for him.
So look at the stats. Actually, to look at it, it would have been the first triple of the season.
Oh, for sure.
Hoppers have not had any triples this season.
I think most would agree with me. I think triples are more difficult than home runs. You don't see many triples.
So we have a new pitcher here, so we'll give them a chance to warm up. It is Justin Whitman, as I mentioned him warming up earlier. So we'll let him take some time to warm up some pitches. As we'll take a timeout. As 5-2 the score now. Hoppers lead the Stallions. And at the bottom of the 6th inning, this is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here as Sam Perkins is in for the Hoppers. Second pitch is a ball. So a 2-0 count. And another low pitch there makes it 3-0. This is the 9th batter in the lineup for the Hoppers. And happy birthday to Stitches, the Hoppers mascot, as Perkins will advance to first. Again, I want to note that the game day sponsor today is Kosha Painting, LLC. Kosha Painting. And I'm going to leave up the NBA news to you, Ethan. I feel like you have better tracking of trades and whatnot. So when you see opportunities fit to throw out some trades, I'm going to ask that you break that down. I know Cason Wallace, Kentucky. I know there are probably a lot of Kentucky fans listening. Where did he end up?
Yeah, Cason Wallace taken at the 10th overall pick by Dallas is going to get sent to OKC. And Dallas is going to get the 12th pick, whoever's taken. So Cason Wallace, a Kentucky player, taken with the 10th overall pick, will be playing his pro ball in Oklahoma City.
Now 1-0 count. As they threw over to first to Perkins, he was able to make it in time. And a delayed call there is a strike. So 1-1 count. Attendance in tonight's ball game is 201 here inside Colonel Field. So runner at first. The pitch is fouled there, as that will go behind the Hoppers dugout. So a 1-2 count now. Runner at first with one out. The pitch is, I believe, swung on and missed. Looked like a check swing, but he did go. So Reed Douglas will strike out there. Now Stephen Bell at the plate. Inside pitch there is a ball. So 1-0 the count. Again, we're here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Hoppers have scored 2 runs here. They scored 3 in that 4th inning. And it's a 5-2 ball game. And there's a strike called there just outside. And that's a 1-1 count now. Runner at first base for the Hoppers, that's Sam Perkins. The pitch there is chops right in front of home plate. It is fair. The throw is not in time. Advancing to third will be Perkins. And a nice job there. As probably not what he meant to do was Stephen Bell, but manages to reach on first.
Yeah, not exactly sure what the catcher was thinking there. That ball gets chopped up right in front of him. He actually allows the pitcher to come and pick that ball up barehanded and make the throw after Bell is almost already there, and it's low, and the first baseman can't make the grab. So I'm not exactly sure why the catcher didn't just pick that one up and make the routine play, but a little miscommunication will get runners on the corners for Hoptown.
So the chopper there is a base hit for Stephen Bell. And a strike called there to Luis Vergara. So we have 2 outs here. As an inside pitch is called strike as well. So 2 balls looking here, result in 2 strikes.
Yeah, and if this ends up being a strikeout, Luis will probably let him know about it.
As that'll be a shot towards second baseman. The throw on his knees is there and in time for the 3rd out. As second baseman had to dive for that one. But that's the 3rd out. So in that inning, there was 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left on base, and 2 runs scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville's scoreboard, we head to the top of the 7th inning as the Hoppers lead the Muhlenberg County Stallions 5-2. This is Hopper Baseball as we head to the top of the 7th inning. This is all brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And welcome back here at the top of the 7th inning. A new pitcher for the Hoppers. It's Cody Jones. As you mentioned it during the broadcast, and before the game, we heard it from Coach Tavari. Normally, they like 4 or 5 innings from the starting pitcher, and then they go kind of 1, maybe max 2 from everyone else, despite how many runs or whatever they allow. So we see Cody Jones here, and it looks like you look over at the bullpen, it's multiple pitchers. Not sure if some are just there just to be with their teammates, but we do see multiple arms being worked there. So expect it. The Hoppers won't be finishing things with Cody Jones as well.
Yeah, no, and like you said, multiple pitchers in the bullpen. Wouldn't surprise me if we only see Jones here for this inning and then maybe see another starter for the 8th and then maybe potentially a closer in the 9th.
As up to bat here. As a high pitch goes over the head of Reed Douglas for a ball. It's Ethan Rothschild. He's 0 for 2 on the day. He was hit by a pitch in his very first at bat. Had a line drive to second in his last bat. So a 2-0 count. The pitch there is high and outside for another ball.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Rothschild. He's definitely on the shorter side. So, someone like Cody Jones is really going to have to get this ball down for strikes.
And that's another one, a high pitch there. And you're right, Rothschild, smaller strike zone there, proves to be beneficial.
Yeah, that last pitch against some batters, as far as left to right's concerned, it was down the middle. So, you just got to work with the strike zone that the umpire's given you, especially with some of these, batters from Muhlenberg who are very differing in height.
And that's a foul ball. And that'll make it a 0-1 count here. So no outs. And a runner at first for the Stallions. He'll throw over to first, and Rothschild is in time. So an 0-1 count. On a high pitch makes it a 1-1 count.
Yeah, and I'll say it again because I said it with Wilburn and Paradis. Some of these starting pitchers who haven't pitched in a while are going to probably need a couple at-bats to find their rhythm. Now, do you want to risk that this late in the game when you're up 5-2? I'm not sure, but that looks like the current trend for these Hopper pitchers.
And yeah, you think about that too. You wonder if it was still a 3-2 ball game, would Frankie Paradis still be in the ball game? But maybe as that's a high pitch there near the head and shoulders area of Phillips at the plate. Get some oohs and ahs from the crowd. So 3-1 count But with the 5-2 lead, you think maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable about throwing a pitcher that hasn't had much action in these past couple of days. That's a foul ball as that one goes behind the Hopper dugout.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to respect the coaches for sticking to their guns and going with their strategy of pitching these guys 1-2 innings. But at the same time, you know, you want to do whatever it takes to get wins for this team that hasn't been able to find them that often this, you know, summer. So if it means letting a guy stay out there an extra inning because they've, you know, got their rhythm going and they're pitching well, you know, you might have to let them pitch 3.
Which a positive sign as well. The Hoppers are currently now in 5th place. They were at 6th for a while. The Bowling Green Pistons now fell to the 6th spot, and they're actually tied with the Clarksville Whirlybirds with both the 5-10 record, as that is a low pitch hits the dirt, so that'll be a walk there as Noah Phillips will advance to first, and Ethan Rothschild heads over to second. Now up to bat is Mac Clark. And as I want to check that Clarksville game, or I believe they're in action this evening. Up to bat, Matt Clark. First pitch is outside for a strike.
Yeah, and if you're Cody Jones, you have to knock down this batter here and not let the bases get loaded with no outs on the board. You know, you don't want to give up this lead. You know, you're up 3, but that's not a crazy lead. You know, the last thing you want to do is get back in a position this team was in the top of the first inning with loaded bases, no outs. And Caden Wilburn was able to get out of that, but, you know, that's not going to happen every time. So right now 1-1, and Cody Jones fighting to keep the runners where they are.
1-1, runners on first and second. The pitch, foul ball, goes in the field behind the visiting bleachers. So a 1-2 count now. Again, Matt Clark, the left-handed batter, is at the plate. Whirlybirds in a tight one here, an 8-8 ball game, as that's a high pitch to make it 2-2. Taking on the Madisonville Miners, it's 8-8 in Madisonville in the bottom of the 5th inning. So with the Hoppers win and a Whirlybirds loss, the Hoppers would propel into playoff contention again, or for the first time, as that's a swing and a miss strikeout there.
Yeah, and a lucky swing there. Cody Jones, I'm sure, with a sigh of relief, as that pitch, if it weren't swung on, would have been high for a ball. So, you know, the batter gets a little excited, and that'll be the first out on the board. Runners stay where they are, and you're looking in a area of the batting lineup that hasn't been quite as solid as that top has tonight.
That ball is going towards left field, and it might have been fielded there.
No, he caught it, but he dropped it. Wow.
Wow.
Very close.
Nice hustle there. But a loose ball there. I believe that was Oliverio there in left field.
Yeah, he leaps for that one. Actually does get that ball in the glove, but as he hits the ground and slides, it flies out. So
impact will do it to you.
Yeah, a great hustle, and he just barely misses the highlight play in left field.
So 5-2 here with just 1 out. And Tegan Corelli, that's a strike there called. So an 0-2 count now. So a 5-2 score here. That's a ball called. Makes it 1-2 the count. Again, we are here in the top of the 7th inning. The 1-2 pitch is high and inside to make it a 2-2 count.
Yeah, and as far as the NBA draft's concerned, Derek Lively out of Duke taking 12th, and then Grady Dick from Kansas taking 13th. So back-to-back Blue Bloods taken.
And that is a chopper, and it'll hit the glove there at third base. And so a tough spot there, as that was Logvinov. Tried to track down that ball and just hit the glove there.
Yeah, that's tough not only because you don't pick up the out, but, you know, there's a potential double play there, you know, rolling up to the shortstop at 2 and, you know, second and first base. So not only do you not get that, you don't get any outs. Now the bases are loaded. And you've got a guy who already has an RBI at the plate.
You're right, Brennan Williams, the pitch. That's a foul ball, goes in the field behind the Stallions visiting bleachers, represented by some Hoppers tonight as well. So an 0-1 count, 1 out here. The pitch is chopped but fouled near the Hoppers dugout by first base. So now an 0-2 count here. It's a 1 out with the bases loaded. And Brennan Williams is facing an 0-2 count. He's going to have a meeting with his coach here as they'll look to discuss some things. Again, want to mention too, so the Hoppers right now the 5th seed with a Whirlybirds loss and a Hoppers win. Hoppers will propel to the 4th seed, and for the first time this season, they'll be in playoff contention.
And this year, a little bit, you know, interesting, different than years in the past, where there's been some teams that really stood out above everybody else. This year, not so much. It really is it's any game or any team's night in any given moment with how competitive these teams are this year and how close they are in skill. The teams at the top of the divisions are not blowing out the teams at the bottom every night like they were even just last year.
And a 1-2 count. That is a strikeout there. Comes off of the bat, but falls in the glove of Douglas there. So Williams will strike out for the 3rd time in the ball game for the 2nd out now with the bases loaded. And it's a new batter, it looks like, for the Stallions. So it'll be a pitch hitter. Listening from the PA announcer, it looks like Joel Deakins. And that's exactly who it is. So Joel Deakins will come in for Rudy Tucker. Now the base is loaded here with 2 outs, a 5-2 ball game. The Hoppers lead the Stallions. First pitch is a strike there as Deakins tries to get out of the way of that one. Well, calls the bluff and calls a strike there. 8-4 ball game, full count rhythm taking on the Louisville Jockeys. Had my eyes on that ball game as the second pitch is fouled behind home plate towards the screen. Both of the top teams in the OVL. Louisville Jockeys, the #1 seed in the north, and Full Count Rhythm, #1 in the south, going head-to-head. And the Rhythm, 8-4, they're ahead in the ball game. 0-2 pitches swung on and missed there for back-to-back strikeouts. With the bases loaded, doesn't matter for the Hoppers. As in that top of the 7th, there were no hits, 1 error, and 3 left on base. No runs were scored as we are now in our 7th inning or stretch, as it is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Visit them today on Fort Campbell Boulevard and download the Chick-fil-A app for online ordering. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, 5-2, the Hoppers lead as they will look to bat here. And it'll be the 4, 5, and 6 batters for the Hoppers on deck, as this is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
HOP.
And welcome back here. The bottom of the 7th inning. The Hoppers currently in control of this ball game as they're up 5-2. And they are set to bat as well with Dom Oliverio at the plate. He was walked in his last at bat and is not gotten a hit yet in this ball game, but he did score off of a fielder's choice. Oh, he had a fielder's choice and he scored off of an RBI by Carter Hood. And so now a pitch there is called a strike. So an 0-1 count here for Oliverio. Second pitch is outside and low for a ball. 1-1 count now. Again, this game day sponsor is Kosha Painting LLC. That'll be a shot in between second and third for a base hit for Dom Oliverio. Mentioned he didn't have one yet. Well, there it is from Oliverio, right in between the shortstop and third baseman.
Yeah, and just to bring us back to that last inning, second time this game we've seen bases loaded. The first in the bottom of the, or the top of the first, excuse me, was no outs, and then there in the seventh, excuse me, was 1 out, and both of those times we escaped with no run. So impressive, gritty defense from the Hoppers and good pitching from Hoppers pitchers in those situations.
Pitch here to Carter Hood is called a ball and outside. If my numbers are correct, I have 10 runners left on base for the Stallions with just 2 runs scored. So runner at first now with no outs for the Hoppers. They'll throw over to first. Oliverio is there in time. Again, pitching for the Stallions is Whitman. That pitch called a ball there to Hood, making it a 2-0 count. On deck is Robert Estrada. His last at bat. He was able to get a base hit. And a swing and a miss there. Makes it a 2-1 count. Bit of a low pitch there. So now 2-1, no outs. Throw over to first once again. Oliverio once again there in time. After after Estrada, Oliverio at first base. After Estrada, it'll be Artem Logvanov. As that's a strike there. A bit low, but still in the strike zone, says the ump. So a 2-2 count. And another strikeout there. A strike called as it clips the outside corner. And Hood strikes out looking. So now 1 out here. Robert Estrada at the plate with the runner on first. Again, we are here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 5-2 ball game. And they'll throw over to first as Oliverio once again makes it there on time. A low pitch there makes it a 1-0 count. And again, too, I've been focused on the NBA, that College World Series game, Wake Forest and LSU, as that's a chopper towards short. It'll be thrown. No, it won't be thrown. It's not. It had no chance. So it'll be kept there. And a base hit there from Robert Estrada. And that makes him 3 for 4 on the day. As a candidate so far for player of the game is Estrada. It'll be a meeting by the mound there.
And I will mention this, Artem Logvanov is about to bat. We just heard his walk-up song First time I've noticed it, at least tonight, it was a rap, but it was in Russian. So incredibly interesting there. Probably one of the most unique walk-up songs that have ever been played for the Hoptown Hoppers, as Russian hip-hop I don't think was on many people's bingo cards tonight.
Yeah, for sure. As an outside pitch there, which, I mean, we've seen that, though, for a couple of our Hispanic players. We've seen, you know, some Bad Bunny get thrown out and, you know, keeping their culture here and their walkout song. So an 0-1 count here for Logmanov after that pitch was called strike. Second pitch is just outside, called a ball. So a 1-1 count. Runners at first and second with one out here. And a 1-1 count here in the bottom of the seventh inning. 5-2, Hoppers are batting. They lead the Muhlenberg County Stallions. The 1-1 pitch is called a strike there. Logmanov looked like he was going to check swing, but kept his bat near his shoulder. So a 1-2 count now. The pitch there, that is a high fly ball, but it's in mid-right field, and it'll be staying at second base there. It was Oliverio, and a beautiful throw there from right field, landed right in the glove of the third baseman for the Stallions. So now 2 outs here. Miggy Villalobos, he had a double and it drove in those 2 runs in the last inning and ended up being tagged out at third. Eyes got a little big running the bases, but still a great performance from him in that 6th inning, which he actually has 2 base hits too. He's 2 for 3 on the day, so also another candidate for a possible player of the game as well. So runners at first and second here. Villalobos at the plate. Bottom of the 7th action. Hoppers batting. Hoppers leading 5-2. And a shot there from Villalobos will go towards right field. Winding, and it's caught there. And mid-right field. Back-to-back fly-out balls to right field, as that'll be the 3rd out. Checking what happened here in the bottom of the 7th. There were 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on base, and no runs scored as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville's scoreboard. Hoppers lead Stallions 5-2. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And welcome back here as the Hoppers are currently leading the Muhlenberg County Stallions 5-2. And the Hoppers won't be here at home tomorrow, but they will be in action this weekend. As tomorrow they'll head to Paducah to take on the Chiefs, and Saturday they'll host the Chiefs as the first pitch there is called a ball. As Hogwood is at the plate for the Stallions in the 7th spot. So a 2-0 count. There's some theme music, unwarranted there. Apologies if listeners heard that, but 2-0 count. Swing and a miss there makes it 2-1. And And so they'll be in Paducah tomorrow. The Hoppers will host Paducah again, back-to-back games on Saturday. That game will be at 6:30 with the pregame show at 6:15 on News Radio 99.3 FM, 12:30 a.m. And ball there makes it a 3-1 count. And then Sunday, I believe the first Sunday home game of the season, as that's an inside pitch for a walk there, as Hogwood will advance to first. First Sunday home game of the season will be the Hoppers as they'll host the Henderson Flash.
And if I'm correct, that game from Tuesday that got canceled will be rescheduled to this upcoming Monday. So 3 home games in a row, Saturday, Sunday, Monday as well.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to look, but I think that one got rescheduled to July 17th.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but we're going to find out. I know
I had talked to who was it? Oh, Cannon Anthony, Hopper's pitcher, and he said he thought it was this Monday, but that he could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Now I'll tell you all too. Certain things like this I may not remember in my head, but you can check WHOPAM.com, and I'll post certain things like that on the scores and schedule, so you can find that. And I know that I did put that in there, the postponement. So I'm actually going to check in the website.
I'm surprised
now.
They would throw that one all the way down to the 17th, but I guess since they have played 2 Mondays after cancellations, maybe wanting to give these guys their Monday this week instead of having 3 in a row being rescheduled Mondays.
Could be the case. And there was a meeting at the mound after Hogwood was walked. So a low pitch there is a ball. Charlie Chauvin.
Yeah, and we're here in the 8th. I mean, don't be surprised if Cody Jones maybe picks up an out, and then the pitcher who will be closing tonight for the Hoppers comes in to finish off the 8th and then play the 9th out, just to try and seal this win and leave the score where it is for Hoptown, who are nursing a 5-2 lead, which is not an unbeatable lead by any means.
As that'll be a shot towards right field. Estrada tracks that ball down. And Chauvin is retired for the first out. And yes, that Hoptown versus the Madisonville Miners, that was postponed to July 17th. But still, it'll be. And I want to note too, I didn't say it, that Sunday home game will not be a 6:30 game like the others. It will be 30 minutes earlier at 6 o'clock. So our pregame show will start at 5:45 on Sunday. Swing and a miss there, high and outside. As looks like another new batter for the Stallions. And Spencer Vaughn was the original batter, but this is Garrett Causey. As that'll be hit towards center field, tracking that down, and it is a grab there by Stephen Bell, as he had to get dirty there.
Yeah, I think he thought that ball was going to, come a little bit deeper, and he makes that sprint over, still kind of looping around it, doesn't run straight to it, kind of loops, in a crescent motion to get to that ball and has to lay out for it. But a great catch. We've seen some gritty moves on defense tonight from these Hoppers to, keep this lead where it is and not allow the Stallions to advance their runs any further than what they are right now.
So now back at the top of the lineup, Reed Douglas had a meeting with Cody Jones to discuss some things. Still just a runner at first, 5-2 ball game here. And Ethan Rothschild, the one-hole batter here with 2 outs. Left-handed batter at that. Pitch gets behind Douglas, now advancing to second will be Hogwood.
And last time Cody Jones faced off against Rothschild, he walked him, and we talked about how he's a smaller guy and his strike zone is small, and Cody Jones likes to throw those higher pitches and needs to get it down to, you know, challenge this batter.
Foul ball there. Makes it a 1-1 count. And so 2 outs here. 1-0-2. I think I didn't get to finish what I was saying. It's a 0-0 ball game. Wake Forest versus LSU in the College World Series tournament. As that's a ball there, make it a 2-1 count. They are in the top of the 11th inning.
And from what I've seen, I've been watching, you know, Twitter mainly for the draft, but, you know, that's popping up. It's been a pretty electric game so far.
As this is a winner-go-home scenario. As whoever wins this gets Florida and the championship. 3-1 count. That looks like a possible grabbable ball there from Douglas. It is not, as it goes behind the screen to the right.
Yeah, and I'll mention this because when we went to Muhlenberg, it's interesting. They have an interesting field out there. The wall and netting behind home plate is like a solid 30, 40 feet behind home plate. It's wild. So there was so many of those. It's a totally different game whenever wild pitches can get guys 2 bases instead of 1. You know what I mean?
As a walk there, as Rothschild will advance to first, and going to second will be Hogwood.
And then you come here tonight and stuff like that, where that ball looked like it was popped straight up, still goes over the back of the netting here. So,
and it appears to be a meeting here as Coach Albin is coming, and it looks like we are going to possibly have a substitution here. I think that may be Miles Green making his way over here. And the baseball is handed to Albin, and yeah, I think that's Miles Green right there.
And I will mention this as Miles Green walks up to the mound. He was the pitcher who closed out the game against Muhlenberg for the win. Pitched almost the exact same situation coming in halfway through the 8th, getting them out of a tight squeeze. I think he was at bases loaded and got them out of that, and then shut them down in the 9th. So a pitcher who did not come into this, you know, season as a closer has been closing games now after that clutch performance in Muhlenberg.
All right, so Miles Green will warm up a few pitches. We'll take a timeout again. Manpower of Hopkinsville score 5-2. The Hoppers lead the Stallions. We are currently in the top of the 8th inning. We'll be right back with more action coming up here.
For financial advice to be used.
News Radio WHOP.
And 5-2 score here. Miles Green has just come in for the Hoppers with 2 outs and runners at first and second at the plate. is Noah Phillips. First pitch is a strike there. So an 0-1 count here with 2 outs. Oh, 1 count. And an outside pitch makes the count 1-1. Again, runners at first and second here. Miles Green has just come in for Cody Jones. And at the plate, Noah Phillips from Midway University in Greenville, Kentucky. The pitch. That'll clip the strike zone there. As Phillips looks over at the umpire, umpire just signals him to get back in the box. As that was pretty outside, but.
Yeah, that wasn't a strike, but Reed Douglas framed it up. But most batters don't argue like that in the middle of the at-bat. They'll wait till after it's over.
And that one clearly outside as Douglas has to jump to the right a bit to get that one. So a 2-2 count now. 5-2 game here in the top of the 8th. A big chance for the Stallions here with the 2 outs to try to shrink in this lead from the Hoppers. The 2-2 pitch is a high for a ball. So full count now. Right-handed pitcher Green makes the throw, and it'll be outside for a walk. And I'll tell you what, same spot that strike earlier in the count was probably called, or same ball that was called a strike. And that one right there, that's called a ball. So.
Yeah, and I've said this before, you got to be consistent, you know, you have to be. And this umpire all night has had a very wide strike zone. Not a crazy high strike zone, but very wide inside pitches and outside pitches been getting called. And he calls one there that is, you know, probably not a strike in most umpires' books, but lines up with what he's been calling tonight and then doesn't call it when it's thrown again.
That one, no denying it there, right down the middle fastball for a strike. Mac Clark, left-handed batter, is at the plate. So bases loaded here. You know, we mentioned about 10 runners have been left on base by these Stallions with just 2 runs scored. Would hate to leave 3 on once again. And that's a foul ball, though, making it an 0-2 count now. Miles Green shakes off the first pitch, nods the second. The 0-2 pitch, that one high and inside for the first ball on the count, making it 1-2.
Yeah, and here's the situation. Miles Green, obviously the count's only 1-2 right now, so you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but can't afford to walk this player, so you need to throw strikes here, even if your defense has to work for you.
1-2 pitch, that ball is headed towards right field. Estrada tracks it down and makes the grab there. So once again, the Stallions will leave 3 on. So 3 left on base. There were no hits and no errors made and no runs scored as well. So checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, 5-2. We'll be back with bottom of the 8th action, possibly the last chance the Hoppers will have to hit here. Is 5-2 the score. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
This is News Radio WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville. News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here. New pitcher for the Stallions. It's Mitchell Mashiko. He's from Claremont College, and he's got a lot of positions here. I think this is the first time I've seen 4 designated positions for one player on the lineup. He's listed as a second baseman, third baseman, center fielder, and catcher. Does it all. And clearly here it looks like he pitches as well. I didn't think about adding that. So an everything player is Mashiko, as he'll be throwing to the 9-1-2 batters to start things here. It's Sam Perkins, Reed Douglas, and Stephen Bell. So Perkins is first up, the right-handed batter. Interesting approach here from Mashiko, as that's a high breaking ball. Now break that down for me, Ethan. We'll let you get one more look at that. I don't think I've ever seen. I don't know if that was just his first pitch, or is that how he normally approaches his pitches there?
Yeah, you say this a lot about pitchers, is that second one's high and a little wild, where you want to throw new looks at these batters. You know, they've seen 2 pitchers tonight, you know, and you want to throw a new look at them. And that's exactly what this is. The pitches coming in aren't anything spectacular, but the the prep, you know, the windup and all that, and you're getting ready to pitch it is definitely what you would call a new look.
So to break it down, Mashiko, he gets down very low, almost in a squatting position, and then kind of stands up and makes the throw, as that'll be a strike there.
Yeah, almost has his gloves touching the ground, or his glove touching the ground, you know, and his arm. You can't really see his right arm at all when he's down there.
As he kind of sits his shoulders on the knees, it looks like, as that's a high pitch there for a walk. As Perkins will advance.
Yeah, and he kind of gets in a spot where he's down there pitching. It's still in that squat, and he kicks his left leg out. So he's squatting on one leg for a second before he lets the throw go. Does not, you know, he lets that throw go before he gets back up to standing position. So he kind of throws it on the way up as he's standing up.
So now Reed Douglas is at the plate, struck out in his last at bat, and is 1 for 3 on the day. He did have a base hit in that 5th inning. First pitch called a strike there. Makes it an 0-1 count. So an 0-1 count. That is a winding ball behind the Hoppers bleachers. That makes it 0-2. Now, I will say, though, I was going to mention that the speed from these pitchers we've seen so far from Muhlenberg County hasn't really been anything special. But they do have Zachary Lawson, a player for them. He actually leads the OVL in strikeouts, as he has thrown 29 strikeouts to 65 against 65 batters faced. And so you'd be better for me to say I can check the box score, but do you remember that name in that Muhlenberg County matchup?
Hey, no, I don't think he's pitched against Hoptown in the 2 games that we've played against Muhlenberg. But these pitchers have not been shabby tonight by any means. They shut down Hoppers for the first 3 innings completely. So they're not throwing a ton of speed, but the movement is not bad.
As they're going to call a balk.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have mattered. Sam Perkins was already stealing and was halfway there. One thing, against Mashiko in this form that he's pitching in is if someone steals, they can almost steal while he still has the ball in his hand, because it's difficult for him. It's going to be difficult for him to get up and make a throw behind him from the position that he's kind of sitting down in.
So a 1-2 count. It was, like you said, already going to be a stolen base, but a balk advances him. Now the field by the shortstop. A chopper is fielded towards first. Throw over to third. Bit risky there, but a nice job from the third baseman by the Stallions to be able to get in front of that ball. And so grounding out there was Douglas. That's the first out. So now, but a runner at third now, though, as that grounder does advance Perkins to third.
Yeah, and if you're the Hoppers, you will take as much insurance as you can get. If you can get another run on the board here, that's huge.
And outside pitch. The fair is called strike. You know, I would imagine, too, the way he approaches Machiko. If he was left-handed, I wouldn't be surprised if someone could maybe get away with stealing home. I mean, he has his kind of eyes. As that's going to be a grounder towards second. They'll throw straight towards home, and Perkins will be tagged out. So they'll prevent the run there. Nice job by the second baseman to prevent a run scored there.
Yeah, not exactly sure what the strategy there was. You know, we talked about it earlier, the base running for this Hoppers team, not been great this season. There's just no real reason to risk that. You're going to end up without either way. You might as well leave your runner on third base. It's just sloppy in my opinion.
And so now 2 outs. Luis Vergara is at the plate with the runner at first. As Machiko makes the throw, that one in the dirt, bounces in front of Deacons, the catcher. So a 1-0 count here. Again, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, 5-2 lead. Hoppers batting, Hoppers leading as well. Throw over to first, and he got up pretty fast. That was really the first time Machiko throws to first.
And you have to wonder if he did that because a Hoppers fan yelled, "There he goes," despite the fact that he indeed was not going. So I do think Stephen Bell may have possibly had his hand landed on there, maybe by the first baseman.
Looks like he's shaking it off here. So 1-0 count, and stealing will be Bell. They will not make the throw. So Bell will advance to second.
Yeah, and you might as well steal every single time someone's at first base against this pitcher. He's completely blind to the first base side when he's down like that. You know, unless he's an owl, he's not going to be able to turn his head over that shoulder.
As Machiko will look as if he was going to throw towards second, but he doesn't. Bell was dancing a bit. The throw is high and inside there to Vergara to make it a 3-0 count.
Yeah, and something about Machiko, whenever a runner does get to second, he kind of opens his shoulders up a little bit more so that he can, stop that runner at second from going to third. So he doesn't get quite as low whenever there's a runner at second.
3-0 is called a strike there, just a bit inside, making it a 3-1 count. Again, 2 outs here, runner at second. Won the count. 2 outs to pitch. A high breaking ball will walk Vergara. And now Dom Oliverio will come up to the plate. Oliverio had a base hit in his last at bat. Now with the chance to provide some more insurance runs for the Hops with a runner at second and a runner at first. And a swing and a miss there. Ball might have tapped the bat. It sounded like he heard a bit of a click there. but a 0-1 count regardless. LSU takes down Wake Forest.
Wow.
2-0 in 11 innings. And I believe they were batting in the bottom as that ball is going to get past the catcher, and advancing now to second and third is Vergara and Bell.
Yeah, and I'll say this. If Sam Perkins had not been sent earlier in this inning and tagged out at home when he probably shouldn't have, he would likely have scored by this point. And so that's one that the Hoppers would like to have back right now. They'd be leading by 4 instead of 3.
So now runners at second and third, an 0-2 count for Oliverio. Chico throws, that's an outside pitch to make it a 1-2 count. A 2-run homer walk-off.
Wow.
By White for the LSU Tigers. And wow, I can't wait to watch that video. I know it was probably electric. And that'll be another ball there, making it a 2-2 count. That Wake Forest LSU game, it was scoreless all the way up until that moment for the 2-0 lead. So it'll be LSU and Florida rematch in the World Series. The pitch. That is going to be fouled. And that'll go behind the bleachers next to the Hopper dugout. So a 2-2 count here with 2 outs. Again, a 5-2 ball game. The Hoppers lead the Stallions here. Runners at second and third. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball. And that is called ball just outside there. You have a full count now.
And if Oliverio can walk here, I mean, Carter Hood coming up to the plate with loaded bases is a very, very positive look for Hoptown as they try to add a couple insurance runs here in the 8th.
The pitch, foul ball there. Goes high towards the screen behind home plate. So full count here remains. 2 outs with runner at second and third, a 5-2 ball game. Hoppers are leading here and batting. Full count, and that hits Oliverio in the shoulder, and he ate that one.
Yeah, he's going to have to rub that shoulder, I'm sure. Didn't feel great, but you're right, he did kind of just stand still for that one. Didn't even really try to move very much. So loaded bases, and just like I said, Carter Hood, someone that you like to see at the plate in situations like this. Even if he doesn't get a hit, one of the guys that seemingly has a good disposition on the mound, or not on the mound, excuse me, at the plate. So someone that even if he doesn't get a hit is likely to walk and draw one in here. But again, the Hoppers, 3 runs. It's nice for them to have a lead going into, the 9th like this, but 3 runs is not a crazy lead by any means.
As Vincent Perazzi is warming up in the bullpen right now for the Stallions, and there's a meeting on the mound by the head coach and the Stallions players. So 2 outs here with the bases loaded. And as you mentioned, Carter Hood will be at the plate. As I can't help but laugh. And one of the Hoppers fans, it seems, is there was a meeting at the mound, and the umpire went to go towards the mound too. A fan says,
Are y'all trading recipes out there? I haven't heard that one all season.
Yeah, I mean,
yet.
most of the time you don't see the umpires get in on those mound meetings, so, you know, you do have to wonder what they were chatting about. Maybe they were trading recipes.
Buffalo chicken dip, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
Outside pitch there is a ball. Again, Carter Hood at the plate. And it's 2 outs here with the bases loaded. The Hoppers at bat. That's a swing and a miss there, making it 1-1.
Yeah, and Hood let it rip on that one. He was swinging for the fences there as that ball kind of comes down the middle just a little high, flies over his bat.
So a 1-1 count now. The pitch is fouled. As that hit the inside part of the bat there, fouling in front of the bleachers on the right side. So 1-2 count now. Mashika trying to get out of this inning. Mashiko. 1-2 count. The pitch is low and outside, making it 2-2. Again, the bases loaded too. A walk will score a runner for the Hoppers.
Yeah, and Oliverio was in the same position with the 2s wild. But this even more tense here with bases loaded.
2-2 pitches swung on and missed there. That'll do it for the Hoppers as they are not able to score a run. As you look at that inning, there was no hits, no errors, 3 left on base, and no runs scored. We head to the top of the 9th inning as the Stallions have one more chance to tie this ball game or better. As Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard reads 5-2, Hoppers up. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The closer, Chase Gruno, is on the mound for the Hoppers here. And the top of the 9th inning, the Hoppers lead the Stallions 5-2. So it'll be up to the 4, 5, and 6 batters to keep things alive here. That's Tegan Corelli, Brennan Williams, and Joel Deakins.
Yeah, and I was wondering if they would, you know, stick with the same look they had on Friday's game against Muhlenberg and leave Miles Green out for the 9th to close things out, but instead they went kind of with the old reliable option with Chase Gruno, who's been closing a lot of their games this season instead.
Gruno, the fast arm, as he'll take time here. Ciarelli will foul there towards right field in front of the Hopper bullpen.
Yeah, and Muhlenberg, I was saying his name throughout the Cicarelli, I was saying his name throughout the broadcast as Chowsarelli because it's CIO, and I was like, well, maybe it's like Chow.
No.
And like 8th inning, they said it on the PA, and I heard it. It's Ciccarelli.
I appreciate you too, because I was not, just a few moments ago, was not saying it like that. As that's a ball called. It was close outside. But 1-1 count now. Ciccarelli is his name. Swing and a miss there. It makes it 1-2 here. First batter in this top of the ninth. So again, a 5-2 score here. The pitch is swung on and missed. The high ball there for a strike 3. So 1 down, 2 to go here for the Hoppers. As it'll be, looks like a new batter, not Brennan Williams, as he is struck out a few times in this game.
They said it's like a Cale Peel, maybe.
Cale Hill.
Hill.
Another one of those multi-position, I guess you could say, utility players, but plays first base, third base, center field, and as a right-handed pitcher is Cale Hill from Marietta College.
We talked earlier when we saw Machiko for Muhlenberg start pitching that, you know, we like to talk about different looks for pitchers. You know, Gruno's a totally different look for these Muhlenberg guys with the speed he's throwing.
2-0 count. That's the first strike of the lineup. Apologize if you're listening and the radio station just went down for a few seconds. It's a 5-2 ball game, and that's a strike call, making it a 2-2 count. As Chase Gruno is on the mound for the Hoppers, he just struck out Ciccarelli. And is now at a 2-2 count against Cale Hill. As that's an outside pitch, a bit too outside, makes it a full count.
And I'll say this, we've already mentioned it on the broadcast once tonight, those last 2 pitches in the same exact spot, one called a strike, one called a ball. Those pitches have mostly been called strikes tonight, even though they're probably not. Got to be consistent with those. You have to be.
Full count pitch is fouled. That'll go behind the bleachers, the right side of the field. So full count here. Cale Hill at the plate. Gruno on the bump, makes the throw. That is high, so walking here will be Cale Hill. As Joel Deakins now will get a chance at the plate with the runner at first. 5-2 ball game. 3 runs needed to extend this ball game here in the top of the ninth for the Stallions. First pitch is a strike. And that same kind of outside area.
And that one even a little low.
It's a strike this time. 0-1 at the count. Swing and a miss there. Can't deny that one. 0-2 now the count.
Yeah, and Deakins at the plate really far up on that bat when he swings. He doesn't start that way, and he kind of inches his way up. Harder to hit these fast pitches.
That's a high pitch there. So a 1-2 count. One, two, one out. The pitch is a base hit there. It's going to hit towards right field, trying to wrap the bases. Oh, and that should score. We'll see what happens. Coming in from third, the throw. And
oh, no.
It is out of reach. Douglas is able to catch it. And making his way to third there is Deakins. Not sure if they're going to rule that a triple. I think he may have made it regardless of the throw. Would have been close. But Deakins makes his way all the way to third, and a run does score for the Stallions. And so officials do rule it a triple. Pitch is outside there. Hogwood is at the plate. As the Stallions are 4th in the league in triples, they have 3. As they now have 4 on the season, so might have jumped on that list as well. So a 2-0 count here. That's an outside pitch, making it a 3-0 count. No action in the bullpen for the Hoppers as they are relying it on Gruno here. 3-0 count, runner at third. Tying run is at the plate, and now the tying run's at first base after the walk.
Yeah, and 4 straight balls to walk him too. I mean, there's a point where you have to throw it down the middle and let your defense work, because I know there's a guy on third, but this game is too tight. Picking up a second out would be huge, even if that guy on third comes in. So, you know, walking a guy 4 straight balls, you know, trying to throw it around the strike zone, get him to swing, probably isn't the way to go about it now, because there's the tying run on first base and only 1 out on the board.
And so now it's a meeting at the mound. Coach Albin is chatting in, looking in. Tamden Webb Tate is batting for the Stallions, and noticed him in a batting practice earlier today. I kind of heard him over talking to himself. Seemed like he was a bit upset with himself. Was mentioning, I overheard him say he was hitting early yesterday, and he said, I'm hitting late today in the batting practice. So we'll see what happens here, how he approaches it in his first at bat, and a big time here.
Yeah, and he played, I think, throughout the entire game on Friday for Muhlenberg, and I want to say, I don't have my book on me where I kept up with the at-bats, that he struck out a few times in that game.
So runners at first and third, 1 out here. First pitch is going to be a fly ball headed towards right field. Estrada will make the throw to home, and it can't be tracked down there. So a score does come in, as that's Deacons. And staying at first base will be Hogwood. So a 5-4 ball game now, and Charlie Chauvin is at the plate with 2 outs here and a runner at first. So the first pitch, breaking ball there, is called a strike. We see normally a lot of heat from Gruno.
Yeah, and
breaking ball shown.
That's
there.
what these batters are expecting too. So when he throws something like that, it does sneak by him.
And another pitch there for a strike. An 0-2 count. The pitch, a check swing, and it's a bit low. Would have done it. First base umpire says he didn't go, so a 1-2 count now. With 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning, a 5-4 lead for the Hoppers. The pitch is outside there, making it a 2-2 count. And you know what? I think that was an outside pitch.
It was. No, you do get a little bit used to it when the ump does call a lot of those tonight, but you know, you can't rely on those for the game.
2-2 pitch, breaking ball, and that'll do it. As the umpire ends the game there, a strikeout looking, and a nice throw from Gruno was a breaking ball down the middle, bit outside, but that will do it there. as there was, in the inning, no hits, no errors, one left on base, and one run had scored, 2 runs, excuse me, scored. But a final score, looking at the manpower of Hopkinsville's scoreboard, 5-4. The Hoppers take down the Muhlenberg County Stallions, and that gives them 2 wins now against the Stallions. As I quickly want to check that Clarksville Whirlybirds game, as it looks like they are on top right now, 12-8 in the bottom of the 8th inning. So the Hoppers may have to wait to jump into playoff contention, but they do stay in the hunt here and continue to stay in the hunt. As a 5-4 win here. And a nice job from Chase Gruno, as 2 runs did end up advancing, but not enough for the Stallions to come back. So 5-4, the final score. We'll wrap things up here and discuss what went down in this ball game for the Hoppers. We'll take a quick timeout again. 5-4, your final score. This has been Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Cunningham Show, Sunday nights at 9 on Hoptown's News Radio 99.3 WHOP.
And welcome back here, a 5-4 final score as the Hoptown Hoppers take down the Muhlenberg County Stallions. As we want to mention our sponsor for our game summary. It's brought to you by North Trust Insurance, serving Medicare customers with prescription drug plans, Medicare supplement plans, and Medicare Advantage. Visit them today at 305 North Drive or call 270-885-0811. And Ethan, just walk me through. You know, this is a game where, once again, you know, I don't like the way it ended. You know, you love to just keep it the 5-2 game. Kind of a bit scary towards the end, just a bit. And 5-4 still, you got the win. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the score was. A win is what you got. Tell me your final thoughts on this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a theme we've seen a lot throughout this season whenever the Hoppers win games, and it's just doing what you need to do to get the win. You know, the hitting was good enough to get the win, but it wasn't exemplary. And the pitching was good enough to get the win, but there was points where it looked a little shaky. You know, multiple times throughout this game, the bases were loaded, and they were able to get out of those sticky situations. But again, just doing what they needed to do to come away with the win in the end, to get enough runs to where those last few runs that they picked up, well, you know, weren't enough to sink them. You know, at some point you'd like to see a dominant win from Hoptown, but for the time being, you know, doing what you need to do to pick up, you know, a W on the board is probably pretty fine with these guys in the dugout.
And now you talk about it too. It was a break for the Hoppers. You know, they had played just the one game in about 4 days. So that was something to kind of look at as well, unique things. It looks like, I believe we have Chase Gruno making his way up here. But that was something, you know, to kind of look at that rest kind of thing. And that was a factor, I believe. But regardless of 5-4 win for the Hoppers, as we have Chase Gruno here, we're going to go ahead and take a timeout. And when we come back, we'll hear from them and discuss some things here. As once again, 5-4 final score. We'll be right back here. This broadcast brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
George Newell. Weeknights at midnight on Hoptown's News Radio 99.3 WHOP.
And welcome back here as the Hoptown Hoppers defeated the Muhlenberg County Stallions at 5-4. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander, and we're joined by Chase Gruno. Chase, how you doing? How does it feel after that win?
It feels great, you know. Everything that we've been working for has finally came together. The bats came alive, pitching, fielding, everything finally came together, and everything got the win tonight.
Now, I talked to Coach Davari before the game. How did you view, one game being played in 4 days and kind of back-to-back days off in this league? You don't really find that. But did you see that as more of a positive to kind of rest, or maybe a negative to kind of not be able to warm up as much?
I definitely thought it was a positive. You know, it's a long season every day. It catches up to your body, your mind, and those off days helped a lot. Everybody's rested. And, you know, we still came to the field, got our work in, so it's not like we were just sitting at home doing nothing. But I seen it as more of a positive for the body and the mind.
So talk to me, too. Come in 5-2 is the score here in that top of the ninth. The 2 runs get scored, the triple comes in. What was your thoughts there of kind of staying composed and making sure, being faithful that you can get that last out?
Exactly what you just said, staying composed, just staying calm, just you and the batter, don't worry about the base runner on. Get your guy. There was 2 outs, so if I got the hitter, I knew it was over. So trust my defense, pitch to contact.
And so when you discuss, you kind of started talking about things getting together and for the team, and the bats were moving like you mentioned. You guys had multiple hits today. As you look at it, it was 11 hits today, and just 1 error, 2. You talk about defensively. What do you think has kind of caused that? Is you coming together and putting together more wins consistently here?
Honestly, I think that we're getting deeper into the season now, so all the guys are getting way more comfortable with each other, hanging out more, and just the chemistry is coming together. Plus, I think the off days had a big impact.
Well, last question for you, too. You mentioned that kind of spending some off days together. How has it been, adjusting to the scenery in Hopkinsville, and what have you kind of been doing for fun lately?
Well, we go over – one of the host families has a pool, so a bunch of the guys go over there. We go swimming, just relax. We've been playing poker every once in a while, so that's been fun.
Well, thank you once again, Chase Gruno, and congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll discuss the player of the game and wrap things up here at Colonel Field. Again, the Hoppers took down the Stallions 5-4. We'll be right back with more of our postgame show brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Weekday mornings at 11 on Hoptown's News Radio. 99.3 WHOP.
Welcome back here. Recapping things, the Hoppers took down the Muhlenberg County Stallions at 5-4. And a victory where we just talked to Chase Gruno, and I agree with them. The bats were doing a good job as far as, offensively. Defensively, only 1 error. And it was, I remember the error. It was to Logvinov, the shortstop. It was one of those, it was a fielding error. I feel like fielding errors are always, when you talk about a hard shot like that, better than a throwing error, in my opinion. But a 5-4 victory for the Hoppers. As, you look at it and a good sign for the Hoppers. And this is a team that the Hoppers had already beat, so it was nice to see that they could do it again. And the Muhlenberg County Stallions. But we want to take this time to discuss our player of the game, who is brought to you by Skyline Animal Clinic and Oak Grove Animal Hospital, who supports all the area schools, athletes, and students. Skyline Animal Clinic has been your source of veterinary care for small animals since 1956. Call them today for all your pets' veterinary needs. Ethan, who is our player of the game tonight?
Yeah, first I have an honorable mention. Robert Estrada is your honorable mention. He had 3 hits and 2 runs. All in all, was very consistent on the night. But your player of the game is Manuel Miggy Villalobos, who had 2 hits but 3 RBIs, and is a player that this season has, had some struggles at the plate as far as discipline is concerned. But tonight was able to finally wake that bat up and play some really solid baseball and help this team, really overcome, a hitting where they hit well, but it wasn't so well that they were, destroying the other team offensively. It was a 5-4 final score, so every one of those RBIs counted a ton, and Villalobos with 3 of the 5 runs batted in.
And you talk about Villalobos too, and I kind of agree with you. You talk about the rest of the season. Plate discipline has maybe been a struggle for him, and you look at it too, and he's second on the team in strikeouts. No strikeouts today. Was able to put a bat on the ball in each of his at-bats that he had the opportunity to. And so you like to see that from him. And congrats to him for winning the player of the game. Once again, brought to you by Skyline Animal Clinic and Oak Grove Animal Hospital. Tomorrow, the Hoppers will be in action on the road, taking on the Paducah Chiefs. Once again, Ethan, tell them how they can tune into that ball game. WHOP won't be covering it, but Hoptown Hoppers TV on YouTube will.
Yes, Hoptown Hoppers TV tomorrow will be covering that game, all away games we try to get to. I try to be at as many as I possibly can, so we will be on YouTube, Hoptown Hoppers TV, or if you just follow the Facebook page, I'm sure it will be shared in there too. So Hoptown Hoppers on Facebook as well is where you can find it.
All right, so, and then our next home game, well, you'll hear us. It'll be at Colonel Field this Saturday as the Hoppers will be in action for the Paducah Chiefs. It'll be back-to-back games, one at Paducah, one here, as it'll be a rematch against the Paducah Chiefs as well here at Colonel Field, as the Chiefs did defeat the Hoppers earlier. But a nice job of the Hoppers as they move on the season to a 6-10 record now. And once again, I want to thank all those who helped with the setup and things of that nature. Thanks to Bruce Smiley and Jeff Sisk for all the help that they put in. Thank you, Ethan, as always, for tagging along with me on this broadcast. And for Ethan Alexander and Jamar Perkins saying so long, and I want to remind you, as always, to call your loved ones and tell them go Hoppers.